Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to another Anthwood Movie Mania, and we are doing another live interview today because my special guest is a returning guest. Because if you watched our first video, we talked all about wrestling and everything about the wrestling business and what we love about wrestling. And today we are going to be talking all about Buffy the Vampire Slayer because that is what we love to watch. We're going to try and get through as much as we can within the time that we've got. So I would like to welcome back to Anthwood Movie Mania the basic bitch slayer, Ruby Roberts.
Hello, how's it going?
I'm going very well. As we were just saying before we went live, I've got it all written down, but I am unprepared, which is not normally the case. But yeah. So how have you been since last time? Even though we've just talked about this, I'm going to ask you on here.
Yeah, apart from fighting off a minor viral infection, yeah, good. Been trying to keep up with things and taking the opportunity to get a rewatch of Buffy in there while I was a wee bit unwell. You always got to take the opportunity.
I've been trying to get as much in as I can coming up to this video, obviously. Yep. So, within that being said, should we just dive into it?
Yeah.
Should we just get cracking onto it? Yeah. All right. So let's talk firstly about Joss Whedon.
Yep.
We're not going to go into all of that. No, I'm not even touching what.
That's a whole podcast in itself.
Yeah, and we probably could do one on that, but like later on down the line, maybe, I don't know. But I'm not going to even. We're just going to stay on the positives on this video. We're not going to talk nothing negative. So let's first get into the idea of Buffy, like the way Joss came up with the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen in interviews and stuff that he got sick of watching the typical girl getting killed off, like running away from demons and not being able to fight back. I'm actually glad that he took that approach to switch it around and flip it on its head. And yeah, like I'm just glad that he managed to push that barrier of a female being able to kick ass. I mean, obviously you've got like in martial arts you've got Michelle Wu, Cynthia, what's her name? Cynthia Broderick. So it's like a martial artist, like very 90s and
I know who you mean, but I can't think of her name.
She's got like blonde hair. Yeah.
Because you also had Xena as well, and loads of other women who looked as intimidating as they were. I think the thing with Buffy, the thing that I really loved that Joss did, was that Buffy was always meant to be a small, blonde, unassuming looking girl who had all of this infinite strength, was chosen and had all of this, but she didn't look the way you would expect her to look. She wasn't dressed like a warrior queen. She wasn't going into battle with war paint in her face. She was a teenage girl. That was it.
Yeah. So what? So I'm glad the push for that thing for the you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm losing my words. But yeah, so you said you based your your wrestling character on Buffy. So I'm gonna ask you, which character did you base it on? Was it the movie or the series?
So it's an amalgamation of characters from the series. The primary influence is Buffy herself, but that could be either or. I remember watching, so the movie came out the year I was born, so I didn't see it until it had been out for a few years. But I saw the movie first and I absolutely loved it. As many problems as there are with the movie, and as much as Joss didn't get to do maybe exactly what he wanted to do, I loved the fact that this girl was sassy and just like this. Again, she didn't look the part, but she was the Slayer. So there's elements of that in there. Spike from the series is a huge part of my character. I spent a lot of time analysing the way that he walks, the way that he carries himself, the way that he enters a situation. there's so much of that character that I try and bring into like the physicality and the attitude of my wrestling character. And then stylistic choices. Angel. So I remember watching Angel, which is obviously not exactly Buffy, but Buffy adjacent. And season 5, Illyria comes into it. And I remember
Yeah.
seeing her in her red outfit with the blue hair and thinking, that is the coolest person I have ever seen in real life. I want to look like that. That's exactly what I want to look like. So I always had in my head from childhood, whether I was going to be a wrestler or not, that at some point it was going to be blue hair, red outfit, and that would be me. So it's a bit of an amalgamation of all of the characters to an extent, because the show had an enormous impact on me growing up. But to sort of pinpoint the main ones, Buffy, Spike, Illyria, and a wee bit of everyone else along the way.
Right, so that's what I want to talk about. Obviously, he came up with the idea, and then obviously they made the film.
Mm-hmm.
Where I've lost my place again. It's just all
Right.
I haven't written gaps or anything. I've just written it all in one thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Right,
why I
hang
like
on,
bullet
where are we?
points.
Yeah, right, okay. So let's get on. So we've talked about, well, roughly picked up on about the idea that he created. But I want to talk about, first off, before we get into the series, I want to talk about the film.
Yes.
So the film came out in 92, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it did.
Oh, I'm slightly wrong then, because I was 91, so it's about the same time.
Oh, it might be 91. Shows you how.
Early 90s. It was
Yeah,
33 years ago, who
91,
cares?
92. We'll keep it there. So do you think Kirsty Swanson was the right choice to play Buffy at that time?
So I think that she was the good proto Buffy. Because, see, because it was the first thing we'd had like that. Up until that point, Final Girls were fairly new in horror films, and we still had, as you said, that trope of the woman who's really pretty and young, potentially open-shirted, running away from the bad guy. So I think that for the time, and because it was like the late 80s, early 90s when this all came about, I think she was the perfect representation of what a schoolgirl would, or like a valley girl would have been at the time. Um, but obviously, it's a bit less relatable because it's so dated. Like when I watch the movie back, they're saying things like Ginchy and stuff that my mum would have said when she was like a teenager in the 80s. So I think at the time she was the right choice, but the way that they took the film and the way that they decided to adopt modern language at the time very much dates it. But I think that she was the right choice at the time to kind of introduce the idea of, you would never think that this girl would be a warrior or a slayer or anything of the sort. I mean, Christy Swanson genuinely looked the furthest from that. She looked like she was made to be a swimwear model. And then she comes in and she manages to not only keep that Valley Girl thing going the entire way through the film, but she still manages to get the kind of good character arc where she goes from being completely clueless to the end of the film. She's putting everyone else first and trying to be the Slayer. I've always thought she was the right choice for that at the time. I think if it had been cast at any other point in time, somebody else would have been better. But because of where it was cast and the way it was cast, I think she was the right choice.
Yeah, I mean the beginning of it, like I love the premise of cause like I pretty much watch the film every year, no matter what. Cause it's just one of them films you just, even though it's
Yeah.
cheesy as anything, when you look back on it now, it's cheesy as,
Yeah.
but it's just one of them films that you can just watch and still have a good time watching it.
Oh, definitely.
Do you think it was the right setting in California, like modern day California? Do you think that
I
was the
think
right place
so.
to film it?
So, in my head, the way I've always sort of, because obviously I don't know Joss Whedon, I've never had a conversation with him, so I'm only going off information we've gotten from interviews and what's happened online,
Yeah.
and that I think that Joss likes I can't say this, juxtaposition. So there's the Valley Girl who's actually a slayer, and is actually this strong, independent person, but initially comes across this way. I think California works because realistically, it's like one of the sunniest places in the US. It would be ridiculous to have
Yeah.
vampires there. Like, it's sunny for so much of the day. There's hardly any nighttime, but it works in the context of all of the juxtaposing sort of themes and factors involved in the show. So I always thought that it was quite funny that they filmed it there in the same way that they have the juxtaposition with Buffy. They also have the juxtaposition with where it's set and how it's done. Or at least that's how I always looked at it.
Mm. I mean, even the opening sequence where Merrick is, where they're in the old tavern. I mean, that's like a great like opener to
Yeah,
begin with. I mean, even if they're just stuck with that story, like in olden times, like in that little village,
yeah.
that they could have made it like such a good film.
And it would have been a lot more timeless because it wouldn't have been quite as, like, even though it would be a period and it would have time, it wouldn't be quite as relatably dated. I
Yeah,
don't know, I've maybe just got like a big thing because for me, I know it's now considered vintage, but for me, the 80s was like my mum's era. And the more I watch it, like as time goes on, the more removed the sort of references and the language in it is. And then every time I show it to someone new now who's never seen it, I have to explain what they're talking about. So I think that, yeah, I think with the movie, I always wished they had explored the other Slayers a little bit more, because they really launch into the idea of her being able to see the past lives right at the beginning of the film.
yeah,
And I think it would have been really cool to see her explore the history of those other Slayers a bit more, to sort of set up her becoming the Slayer. But obviously, Josie's hands were a wee bit tied with what he was and wasn't allowed in the film.
yeah. I mean, the apart from that, like the cast members. I mean, like obviously you had some like early starting cast members, like, but now they're like heavy hitters in the film industry.
Yep.
I mean, you had Rodger. I can't pronounce this. The guy who played Lothos, Rodger
Yes.
Hauer. Is it Rodger Hauer? Is
Rutger
that how you
Hauer.
pronounce his name? Yeah, I can't. I mean, he was already a heavy hitter name in the 80s.
Aye.
It's just me cat. Just me cat jumping off everywhere. Then you had Merrick, Donald Sutherland, obviously another heavy
Yep.
hitter. Then you had upcoming Luke Perry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Saying that, Luke Perry, I think with his character, they try to represent him a little bit with Spike. Because I mean,
Yeah.
they've got the name Pike, and then they've got the name Spike.
He's the precursor to Spike. He's the
Yeah,
interim
it's like
bad
the
boy.
character. Some of the characteristics, I think they like try to put onto his character.
Oh, sorry. Here we go.
Right, I'm just gonna let the cat in because she's still made. Come on.
Oh, actually, I'll be 2 seconds. I need to flick a switch. Just I didn't realise I hadn't turned this charger on. I'll be 2 seconds.
All right. Actually, I'm gonna have a quick drink.
There we go. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Do you know what? You're going back out. Give me 2 seconds. She's going back out.
No problem.
Sorry, sweetie. She's gonna do amazing. No, she's run back in. So I'm just gonna have to leave her there. Right. Right.
Oh, she's just a guest.
You. Right, I'm back.
Hello.
She was just gonna like start jumping all over everything, and if she knocks the camera, everything's gonna go.
It's chaos.
Right, so back to this video. Right, so yeah, we've got Hilary Swank, obviously $1 Million Baby. She hit it big
Yep.
time. You got David Arquette as Benny.
Yep.
What did you think? What did you think on his character with him being?
I I'm not gonna lie, I loved that character and also might have fancied him a little bit as a child watching the film for the first time. Like everyone else watches it and they're like, oh, Pike, or any other guy in the film, and I'm like, David Arquette. That's him. Yeah, that's the boy I want. But I absolutely loved his character. The scene where he's tapping the window after he's been turned
Yeah,
gets me every time. It just, I don't know why, but it just makes me hysterically laugh when he's at the window tapping away like Salem's Lot.
yeah, yeah. That's a good reference actually to say to that. But do you know what? Considering how cheesy the film is, some of the deaths in it, like some of the way they get turned, is
Hmm.
like they make it like really dark. Like obviously where Benny gets turned, where they
Yep.
pass out on the mountaintop, and then he like gets dragged over.
Yeah.
I think that's like a good setup, and where he walks into the little fairground
Yeah.
where
This
Paul
is
Rubens sat on the Ferris wheel.
See,
The
this plays a lot into the
uh,
juxtaposition thing again. Like, it's a lot of, so you've got imagery of like a fairground, which is normally a place of like happiness and laughter and kids. And then you've got this awful vampire staying there and using it as his lair. And then you've got obviously the ridiculous nature of the vampires once they're turned, like tapping on the windows. And obviously, when, oh, his name's just gone out of my head. What's his face? The minion. Lothos's.
what Paul Rubens,
Yes. So
but I don't.
it's completely
I
gone
know
out
what
of
you
my
mean.
head.
Yeah, that's his real name, but I know what you mean. I know.
But when he dies, he obviously it's very like it takes like 10
One of
minutes
the
for him to go
funniest
down.
deaths. One of the funniest deaths on screen. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's that juxtaposition between the way they die is so like dark, and it is. It's like taking advantage when somebody, like you said, passes out in the street or any of the rest of them. Versus when they get turned, they almost turn into these sort of comical vampires who are a bit
Yeah.
ridiculous and taking the piss out of everything.
Yeah, it's like when he rips his arm off and he goes, "Oh, you took off my arm. Kill him a lot." It's like,
Yes. It's just, yeah, like I think it's fantastic, but it's great how you get that wee note of there is that dark element in there, and then they bring it back round to comically funny. And I love how they sort
yeah,
of constantly dip and go through the whole film, going between ridiculously over the top, cheesy, funny, and then like genuinely like, oh, I would feel really, though I don't like that situation. I wouldn't want to be in that situation, kind of thing when the people are dying.
yes, that was the next thing I wanted to talk about. Obviously, with Joss wanting to make his type of film, obviously the studio had a lot of interference and everything, making Joss wanted to leave the project. Uh, Obviously, they made it a lot campier and
Hmm.
everything. What would the film be like if there was no studio interference and Joss just had full reins on it?
So
Would
I
it?
think
Would
it would be so much more like the series, I think, because he got a lot more creative freedom to make the series the way that he wanted to once he proved that Buffy was a concept that would work. So I feel like we could have gotten a movie version of the series. Thank you.
mm.
Sorry.
just, just.
my my lovely cousin Bobby Roberts, who the former wrestler is in the background, hence
Oh,
the poster
bring him
and
in if
Moran,
he's there. Howie, just get
Moan,
in.
he's just coming.
Say hello.
I will apologise. He's been moving about behind the camera. I've been trying to keep a straight face because he's been moving about behind the camera while I've been talking. So
Hello.
this is Bobby Roberts,
How you doing?
Hello.
also a Buffy
Are
fan.
you a big Buffy fan?
I am, yeah. Since day one, basically. I think I missed only a few episodes. Then obviously switched over to Angel. But yeah, no, but God, how long? You'll talk about your favourite episodes here as well. Like my favourite, actually one of the earlier episodes was the Pack.
Oh yeah.
It was one of my favourite ones. So probably,
Oh well, yeah. We're
but
gonna get all into that in the next section, in the next bit of this section. So
I'm
don't
just, I'm
spoil it
just,
for yourself.
I'm just here to wind her up and pass her random stuff. To be fair, I think it's
Yeah.
amusing. Hence why I stuck a poster in the background as well. So
Oh,
I find that
Yes,
amusing.
I should probably do the plug. Respect Pro Wrestling in Beath in North Ayrshire in Scotland have a show on the 31st of October. No, 31st of this month, May, sorry.
Yeah.
31st of, I don't even know what time of year it is. 31st of May this year. It's for charity. There are some tickets left. I'm very tired. There are some tickets left. If anybody watching is in that local area, message Bobby Roberts.
There you go.
And
This
with
video is
that,
sponsored by that promotion. There you go.
yeah, thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to disappear with my heel. I'll let the lovely Ruby get on with this, and I'm still going to pass on Randall's stuff because it makes me laugh.
Quick
Cheers.
question. Hang
Yes.
on, wait. Quick question. Buffy the movie, love it or hate it?
Some of the characters love it. The movie, it's good. It's not great. But if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't have the series.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if they did, they should bring back another Buffy movie. That'd be fantastic. No, not just a feature-long episode, but an actual kind of.
Well, they're rebooting the series.
Reboots don't work all the time, though. That's the problem. Like sometimes it's like, oh, that's great, and then it's like, but then you've got diehard fans like you who'll watch it and pick holes in things.
Yeah.
That's the only issue with reboots. You go, wasn't like that before? It's the same thing with wrestling as well. It's like, oh right, this is new. This is like the Attitude Era. No, it's not. It's not. It's nowhere near it. It's just better wrestling. Because Attitude Era wrestling was terrible. Yeah, it's like diluted Attitude. So the whole thing with the Buffy reboot, it'll be woke Buffy.
To be fair, Buffy was fairly woke in the first place.
Yeah, I know, but I won't get into that.
They had the first gay kiss on American TV.
Yeah, I know, but I remember Brookside with the first lesbian kiss on British TV. So
True.
Brookside done it first.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
I was going to bring that up, but
you
you saved me the issue. Saved me the issue of addressing all that.
Sorry about that.
It's fine. More people want to talk about it. Bring them in. Right. Yeah. So obviously, Seth Green is in.
Yes.
Well, he's meant to be in the film, but obviously he got cut in a deleted scene where you see him get turned into a vampire by the guy who gets played, the basketball player who gets turned in the fairground.
Yep. With the weird ears.
Yeah. See, the picture is on the back of the VHS cover of him getting turned, but it's not in the film.
Yeah, they just cut it out.
Yeah, I hate when like films and like TV and stuff give you things in the trailer, but they don't give you it in the film. That annoys the living.
It's almost always the thing that's hooked you. It's almost always the thing that you went, oh, I want to see that, and then you go and it's not in it.
Yeah, it annoys the living daylights out of me when they're like they put so many good things. I mean, just going off a thing here for a second, Buffy for a second. I watched the new Karate Kid film, Karate Kid Legends, the other day.
I've not seen it yet.
And well, I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm a massive.
Even if you did, I'd forget.
Yeah, I'm like a massive Karate Kid fan. Like I love 1 to 4, and then I love Cobra Kai. Like I love it. Like I'm a big fan of it. But this film, it was just it's on for an hour and a half. It just felt rushed as anything.
Yeah.
Like the training sequences, the fights, it just the full lot was just rushed, and it just didn't feel like a Karate Kid film at all. So I was so looking forward to watching it, and it's just a proper letdown.
I feel like a lot of things are like that just now. Things have moved to a place where companies like Netflix are now producing more content than some big actual movie houses themselves are creating. And it's becoming more of a conveyor belt system where they have a formula and then they'll just create show after show after show using that formula, or movie after movie using the same formulas. And it is resulting in quite a lot of different franchises suddenly having films that feel like they're very cut to the point. Like, oh, here's everything you wanted all in one film. There you go. Instead of focusing on proper storytelling or what we used to have back in the day, which was like original points of view and original stories.
Yeah. But right, get my little rant out the way. Stick to to the film for the last second. We also have a Ben Affleck cameo in the film. Like, he's in it for 2 seconds. I don't know if that was like his earliest work. I don't
I don't know.
know.
I think that might be the earliest sort of. I think that's the very first thing I remember seeing Ben Affleck in. And
Yeah.
it's
So then he went on to Chasing Amy and Mallrats and
which that discussion for another day again. But like Kevin Smith, the View Askew universe, absolutely obsessed. Love it. First one I remember seeing was Dogma, and then I was hooked. That was me from then on. I've got all of them, books, DVDs, the extras, the lot. But yeah, that could be a whole discussion in itself. But I do think that there's quite a lot of crossover. There's a few different people who have been in sort of greater Buffy universe who have ended sort of crossing over into it. And then obviously you've got Shannon Doherty and Mallrats as well, so there's like a crossover to Charmed as well.
Shannon.
Doherty,
Nadia off American Pie. Yeah.
yeah.
They've just confirmed it for the love of horror. She's going to be there.
Oh wait, so no, that's definitely not Shannon Doherty then, because she's dead.
No.
Nadia was, I'm trying to remember the actress's name, because she was also in Scary Movie. She played Buffy in
Yeah.
Scary Movie.
Oh, I'm thinking. I don't know. I can't think of her name. Anyway, she was in. Do you know what? I was looking at her name last night as well. Completely gone over my head. But anyway, yeah, she was announced for the love of horror last night, so she's going to be there as well. So I might take my Scary Movie down to get it signed.
That would be very cool. I'm looking at
Yeah,
horror.
I'm just waiting for the prices for Matthew Lillard and Skeet to announce their autograph prices. So up to now, I've got them two as the duo photo, and I've got Jamie Kennedy's autograph. Them are the 3 things I've paid for up to now. And
Yeah.
But the one thing that's annoyed me about that, I know, just I'm ranting over here.
No, you're
So
right.
when they announced the Jamie Kennedy autographs, it was like, buy the autograph, then pay the booking fees, so you don't lose your. So if he cancels, then you don't
Right,
lose.
okay.
You can get your money back and like protection and everything. But then yesterday they switched it on the website to autographs pay on the day. So like I've lost out now
Yeah.
on my booking fee. So I'm like,
Yeah.
if they put like payment plans in where you can like instead of just paying it off in one
Yeah.
big chunk, you can like each month you can just pay a little bit off. But they're doing it like all backwards, which is annoying
I
me to death.
don't know what's going on with cons and stuff at the moment, but there seems to be a lot of confusion, or like a lot of things changing, where like things are getting set up or like booked one way and then it seems to change, or then they change their mind at the last minute, or it's happened to a couple recently and I'm like, what's going on, guys? Like,
Yeah.
we just want to see celebrities and meet them. Like, just let us give you money, make it easy.
Yeah, because when they announced the duo photo, that was it. And then obviously when they announced Jamie Kennedy, they're like, oh, if you want to get an upgrade to the 3 of them, then you can like you have to ring them up and upgrade. I was like, why not just bring out the trio and the duo, like just together at the same time, and then you can pay which one, like instead of having to faff about with it. It just
Yeah. Just should be easy.
Right. I keep rambling. Right. So that's the movie done and dusted. Got that out there. Right.
Yeah.
So now we've had to wait 5 years later. But before we get into season 1, obviously they had to pitch a promo for the unaired pilot. Have you watched it?
Yes. I love I love watching bits. So when I first found the unaired promo, when somebody posted it to YouTube years ago, I was like, oh my god. I felt like I was getting to look behind the curtain a wee bit. But I loved watching it, and then watching the actual first episode of Buffy and trying to sort of pit them against each other. I will say they definitely made the right decision changing Willow. She seemed like a lovely actress, and it wasn't like bad, but the way that she gelled with the other two, wasn't the same as it was with Alison Hannigan. Like, it was just so much better. It was also a wee bit jarring seeing Sarah Michelle Gellar with her natural hair in
Yeah,
the
the brown
pilot. I
hair,
was so
yeah.
used to seeing her with the blonde to then see her with brown hair. But yeah, no, I absolutely loved the pilot.
Yes, because they had a different Willow, a different principal. Wasn't
Yep.
Principal Floaty, it was I can't remember her name. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
I can't remember the principal's name. But they had a completely different library. Which library would you have preferred? That one or the one in the series?
see, I liked the one in the series better. I thought that it had
Yeah.
a better. This is going to sound nuts because this is going to sound like I'm thinking about it from a movie point, like standpoint, or like a filming standpoint. I like the layout of the newer library, the one in the actual series, not the pilot, better
Yeah.
because there was more of a sort of continuity in how they could move
Yes.
around the space and how they could film with people on different
Yeah,
levels.
and just keep it in one spot and you can see everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it was a lot more of a focused central set rather than an actual library,
Yeah.
which I thought was really good. And also lent itself to more dynamic fight scenes whenever they got attacked in the
Yeah.
library as well because of the way it was structured. That's
Yeah.
always my adult answer. When I was younger, I just thought, cool, they're getting hit. I like this one.
Yeah, back about 2 or 3 years ago now. There was, I mean, you can probably Google it, but on my channel there was someone who made like a 3D virtual library of like the one
That's
on
just cool.
the series, but like it was just all like animated, like 3D animated,
Yeah.
and like they took like a video going around it all, and then they took like pictures of the full thing. So I made like a full video on it. You can probably, I mean, if you go on my channel, you'll see it. But so like I showed like like videoed in camera like all the pictures, and then when he did the 3D motion around it all, I like pieced it all together, and then I put Giles narrating on top of it, where
Oh,
he's
that's so
like,
cool.
where he talks about do you know in the the second episode where he's talking to Willow and Xander about like this world's older than any of you know, where
Yeah.
he's like spins the globe around, and like I've got that like conversation as it's full flowing all around the room with like, and then I put music, like dark music on top of it, like
That's
horror
awesome.
music, like, I made it, like dead dark, but like it turned out class, like
That's so cool. I
yeah,
love stuff like that. To be honest, anything even vaguely Buffy related, I'm interested. But that sounds awesome.
yeah. But obviously I've got stuff to show you in my collection that you won't have seen. Obviously, you might not have seen.
I feel a
But
wee bit bad because the amount I've brought is a wee bit crap because I'm not in my actual house. But
yeah,
I can always send you some pictures of other stuff if you want.
yeah. I don't. You're looking loads of stuff like from. But right, where are we? Yeah. So the end. Obviously, in the pilot episode, we got we got Jonathan
Yes.
in the queue of the. What would you say? The bronze, because that's a completely different bronze sign as well.
Yeah, I will say I think I liked the pilot, everything in the pilot, but I do think that the changes they made in the actual series I really liked. I liked the bronze better in the actual TV series, and I liked the sign more. I don't know why. I think it reminded
Yeah.
me of like I don't know why it's my brain's like giving like jungle lettering. I don't know how to explain that. Like
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I've got a visual picture in my head, but I don't know where it's came from. But it's almost like I'm seeing like zebra lettering for some reason, but it reminds me of that for some reason, and I've
Yeah.
always liked it. Or like the do you know that juice Umbungle?
Umbo-
It always kind of
Umbungo.
reminded me of the Umbungle logo for some
Going
reason.
loco in Umbungo.
Yeah,
God, I haven't had
like
that in years.
but yeah, it always reminded me of the lettering from that for some reason. So I always really liked the sign and the design of the actual bronze in the series. The unaired pilot one is quite cool, but I don't know, it just didn't again, it didn't feel like the
Yeah.
right space. I don't know how really to describe it. It just didn't feel like the right space for it. And then when obviously they come back with the actual series, it's much, much better. Although I
Yeah.
suppose this is why they'll do focus groups.
Obviously, we've got Darla in there as well. She was obviously a main part of the pilot.
Yeah.
And did she get killed in the pilot? I can't. Or did she escape? I can't remember.
I think now you're asking, I think she died in the pilot because I don't think she was originally meant to come back, and then they decided that they really liked her.
Yeah.
So they had her do the first 2 episodes and then brought her back later on.
Yeah, I think she did. I think she did get killed, didn't she?
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to be fair, like the unaired pilot, it's on for like half. The one thing I do like, oh no, that was the series. No, forget it. But yeah, I mean, the pilot's on for like 25 minutes, so it was a good way to pitch it to studios. But I am glad that the went with the changes that they did.
Yeah, definitely. Although I will say, how weird would it have been if we had actually ended up with Deadpool as Xander? Because it was that close. Ryan Reynolds was nearly Xander.
Oh, I know. Do you like Xander? Do you know what? That's why I invited you onto the show, because the first video I seen of you was you ranting about Xander.
Yeah, I could go on forever. Like, do you want to talk about it just now, or do you want to ask the question and then we talk about it? Because it's yeah, there's a lot to that one.
All things positive. We won't talk about it.
Yeah, so I liked Xander's character to a point. There were things that I didn't like, but I will say you get people in real life who are like Xander. You get people in real life who are maybe jealous or aren't maybe always thinking of other people or whatever.
He's very self-centered.
Yeah, so
That's the way.
it's more realistic to have someone in the group who is a bit more self-centered, other than Cordelia. Or at least this is how I try to justify it to myself. It makes more sense to have somebody in there who's not the perfect fit. Like, nobody has a perfect friend group where absolutely every single person is like a perfect Lego piece and they all fit together and it's all harmony all the time. That's not life. So as much as I dislike Xander's character, I think he needed to be in there to be that guy.
Yeah.
I'm really glad it wasn't Ryan Reynolds though, because I think if Ryan Reynolds had played that character, it would have probably put me off him for life.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Ryan Reynolds. He's like, he tries to be comedic all the time. Like, no matter, I don't think, apart from like the Amityville Horror, I don't think I've ever seen him in like a more serious film.
No. And even then, the Amityville Horror, some of the faces he was pulling, I know it wasn't meant to be funny, but it kind of was. Especially that scene where he's just walking about shirtless, trying to kill his family after like the majority of the films happen. He's just in the boathouse, like. I honestly just think that's hysterical.
Well, it was raining. You need your shirt off when it's raining.
You've got to save your shirt from shrinking. That would just be embarrassing. But yeah, no, I'm glad. Do you know that way, personality-wise, I actually think Ryan Reynolds would have been a great fit. But that sounds bad, he's a really attractive guy, like a really classically attractive guy. Like, to the point where even other men are like, my man crush is that man. Xander was never meant to be super handsome. He's deliberately meant to be the average guy. He's supposed to be the guy that could be friend zoned. And I think sticking someone who looks like Ryan Reynolds in that part, it wouldn't work, because then it's a lot less plausible and believable why he wouldn't be able to just get a girlfriend, or why he wouldn't be able to just get somebody who wasn't Buffy. And then he wouldn't have had to obsess on Buffy so hard. And then do that way, then the whole character kind of starts to unravel if you take that one element and change it. So I think they did a great choice by casting Nicholas Brendan instead.
Yeah. Right.
Again,
so
positivity.
Right. So let's get on to season 1. All right. I've got 40 minutes in. All right. Bloody hell. Time flies when you're having fun. Just keep going.
Just keep going.
just keep going. All right. So let's move on to season 1. So obviously, the people who've watched my channel for I don't know many years now, they will know season 1 is my favourite season.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you said that because most people don't like it, and I love season 1.
No. See, my very favourite 2 episodes is Welcome to the Hellmouth and The Harvest. Them
Fair.
two, because I love how the first one it introduces everybody.
Mhm.
You've got like Willow, who's like the proper nerd. You've got Jesse, who never gets talked about again.
Poor Jessie, by the way. I literally saw a TikTok the other day, and it's someone who is acting as if they are someone that lives in Sunnydale. And like that way where we were all watching it going, how do the residents of this town not know what's going
Yeah.
on? So this person's like pretending they're that person, and at one point they're like pretending to be Willow's parents and saying to Willow, where did that nice boy that you were friends with your entire life go? Where did he go? Did we just stop talking about him? Did he just disappear? Oh, he's dead. Oh, right, okay. Well, that's that done with then. We'll never discuss him again.
That is probably one of its biggest plot holes, that it has like such a high death rate town. It's like
Especially for Xander. Like, I'm not being funny, because even guys are like good pals that way. You don't just, oh, my friend died, that's it, I'll never talk about him again. Like,
yeah.
Xander especially would have been heartbroken by the fact that his only male friend that he was close with was just murdered and then tried to kill him, and then they just never discuss it again. It's like, what? Weird. Okay.
Yeah, Welcome to the Hellmouth. I love how like Buffy moves into Sunnydale, and then obviously she's trying to make new friends, and then she meets Cordelia, and then obviously she finds out she's a big bully in the school. But the one thing I do love is where she goes into the library for the first time and meets Giles, and then he puts the big
Just
vampire book on, which I'm going to show you in the collection.
excellent. That's amazing. I don't
Yeah.
have one of those yet.
Yeah, but it's not the Factory X one. Someone made it for me. All right, so
That's still awesome.
and it weighs a ton. I'm not gonna weigh a ton. It's proper like, but I look. Now there's another thing. So I'm just gonna stray off again.
Yeah.
Through the full series, obviously where she looks on the table and you see the newspaper of like 3 local boys dead and missing, and like they're all thinking. Through the series, you see like loads of newspaper articles of the Sunnydale Press, and I was thinking, and I've looked everywhere, like I've looked online and that, and I was thinking, no one's really hit up on that, like just like the newspaper articles. So
Yeah.
I filmed, like as I was I rewatched the full series, or it might have been season. Oh no, actually, yeah, I did. I like videoed. I took pictures of every single article that was in the show,
That's awesome.
and then like I put like a dark fade on it, and then like slowly zoomed in, and then like put like like Buffy music over it, so like it
Yeah.
just goes from like all the different articles.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so again with Giles narrating over it, like everything under your bed's real and all
Yeah.
that. I think there's about eight news, like 8 articles in there. I think.
That's so cool. Because I don't know why nobody's ever thought of that, of like releasing the actual news articles, or
Yeah,
because that would be awesome, especially because you realistically there would surely be Easter egg information in those articles as to like what was
yeah.
going on or whatever that wasn't maybe mentioned in the episode, or that maybe
Like,
that's just me thinking about it too much. But
no, that's
I think
what.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but as I was watching, I was thinking, no, like no one's ever done that, and then like I just started like doing it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously he talks to Buffy about being the Slayer, and then she doesn't want to be the Slayer. And then and there's another funny thing in the film where she goes, "Oh, what kind of a name is Buffy anyway?" She goes, "Oh, hey, Aphrodisia."
I know. I do think it's funny that our name gets harped on quite a lot. Because I will
Yeah.
say, before the TV show, I'd never heard of anyone being called Buffy. I'd
No,
never
I
heard that
haven't.
name
No.
before, ever. And now it's such a popular pop culture like
Yeah.
well-known name. It's quite funny. But I do love the fact that they do wee things like Willow's mum is forever calling her Bunny,
Yeah.
your friend Bunny,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I absolutely love that.
Oh, that was it. That's what the principal calls her in the pilot episode. He keeps calling the bunny.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of. But then obviously we get introduced to Angel being the mysterious guy. Gives him the cross. But then you get introduced to the Master. Like the Master, he's probably he's my favorite overall bad guy because again, it like you get introduced. I mean, obviously, the Order of Aurelius.
Yep.
You get introduced to Luke, who's in
Mhm.
it. Brian Thompson, who's in it for 2 episodes for the beginning.
I love that man. He has been in every single supernatural TV program you can think of, and more than once. He was in Charmed as 3 different demons, and 2 different demons and a god, and he was in Buffy. I'm pretty sure
He's the
twice.
judge. The
Yep.
judge, yeah, season 2, yeah. Which again is, yeah, he's a good character. I mean, like I loved him as Luke.
Yeah.
But then obviously you've got the Master in the underground layer is like the church.
Yeah.
Now, see, with that, I kind of because like I watched The Lost Boys again the other day,
Mhm.
and they're late like The Lost Boys like late is like pretty much the same story as what happened to the Master, where the big earthquake and the church sinks underground.
I've always thought that Joss must have been very heavily influenced by 80s vampire films. Like we mentioned Salem's Lot earlier, especially in the
Yeah,
film, there was a lot of wee references, like little sort of nuanced things that if you've watched both things quite a lot, you start to pick up on, like the tapping in the window and like again what you said with Lost Boys. I feel like if you watch it and you really know your vampire, like your 80s vampire films, you can sort of pick out the little bits of inspiration
yeah,
all along the way from each bit. Even in the way Spike is. So Spike's character, obviously, they based the look overall on Billy Idol, and then had the
yeah,
joke of, oh, he inspired Billy Idol. But I feel like a lot of that sort of inspiration for the kind of punk, rocky, grungy, metal vampire came from the Lost Boys and the way that the vampires in that film carry themselves, dress. They are a bit more sort of rocker grungery. And I think that the sort of Spike was maybe um, a sort of amalgamation of all of those characters into one sort of distilled guy.
yeah, yeah. But then then we've got again where Angel, like I just love the dialogue, like the history behind it all, because when Angel talks about the harvest, and then that's another good scene I like where Buffy's in the bronze, and then
Mhm.
Giles is talking to her, and she goes, "Oh, your friend told me the harvest is coming," and he's like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And he's giving her that look. Like I just love like little dialogues like that, like
Mhm.
where something serious is about to happen, and then he has to go research it all, and
I love, so especially in the first season, the way they deliver the dialogue. There's a very distinct sort of pacing to it, and there's a very distinct way that they have the conversations with each other that sort of eases off as they get further in the series, because obviously it becomes a bit more natural dialogue. But
yeah,
with the first season, they were still finding their feet. I actually love that. It's all very paced and deliberate.
yeah,
It's almost like comic book esque, where it's all very deliberate, like punchy dialogue rather than actual conversations.
yeah,
And I think it adds that little element of extra drama and extra sort of excitement to it, that I really love about the first season, because obviously as they sort of find their feet more and find their own sort of pacing, it eases into a bit more of a natural flow. But I love the fact that season one is just so over the top in every single way.
yeah. I mean, even when they're like she's fighting Luke, and then like it's just the graveyard in general, like how big that graveyard is insane. Like because obviously back then they were shooting on real locations.
Yep.
Because that's another thing I love about season one is how low the budget was.
Yeah,
And
they literally they had an actual cemetery to shoot in, and then they had a tiny triangle of grass that they turned into a cemetery for close-up shots that was on the lot. It was literally beside a car park.
yeah, you can tell that's in season 2. Yeah, you can tell that because when they like start shooting it from like every angle, you can like, oh, well, that's there. That's
Yeah, if you start noticing the bits in the background, you're like, hey, wait a minute,
yeah.
that's not a graveyard.
But yeah, like I mean, the aesthetic like of the fair, like when you first see the cemetery in the like season 1, like just how big it is, and like obviously the amount of graves that are there, and obviously Sunnydale has how many how many cemeteries does some? I think they have about 12 cemeteries or something, don't they?
I think so. I'm trying to remember because I know at one point there is you see a sign for Sunnydale that has a population on it, but I genuinely can't remember what it is. But it like the amount of graveyards that they say they've got versus the actual population's insane.
There's a book. I don't know if it's in the thing I've got here, but there's like a full scale map of Sunnydale,
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
and then it shows you like everything where everything is like it's proper like detailed. But I don't know if it might be in one of my books, but it's definitely in one of my books I've got. But yeah, and then what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, and I love how Giles is talking about the heart when he starts doing his research and you see the vessel sign and
Yeah.
like in the book, which is something I'll get to. But then obviously he starts talking about the Hellmouth, Doco del Inferno, Spanish for Hellmouth,
Yep.
and then obviously the harvest comes, and then the storm, the bronze, and then he starts killing everyone, and obviously the stop the master from breaking free and everything. It's just everything about them first 2 episodes. It just sets.
There's also the scene where the scene in the bronze where she comes in to take this like head on to beat them all. I love this fact that they've got that scene where she gets up on the table, snaps the pool cue.
Oh
It was
yeah,
such an iconic shot that they end up using in the intro for quite a long time after that. That I think really sort of established that not only was she capable of doing it, that she was stepping into that, like, yep, let's go, I'm accepting this now, and charging head on. And that, like, I just think that that's such a powerful image of this tiny wee 5 foot skinny blonde lassie about to take on this entire room of vampires with a broken pool cue. Like, it's just so cool.
yeah, because they like in America, the show and the full 12 episodes, which I hated because I knew it was airing on like in America, and then they put it on BBC. Like they put like the first 2 hours on
BBC2.
BBC Two. So like it was in primary school. It was a school night, and I was like, I mean, it was on. I think it was on at like 7 o'clock.
Yep.
So so,
Because I
but
was
then see,
6 years old, I was, and I very distinctly remember my dad and my mum saying to me, "Okay, we're letting you watch this, but if it becomes too bad, we're turning it off." And I'm like, "Okay." And then they put it on, and I was immediately glued to the telly. I didn't move, even the adverts. I didn't move for the full time for the first 2 episodes. I was just so enthralled by what was going on. I was like, "Yes, this is my life now."
the yeah, I mean for the promo, the ads, because obviously when they first showed Welcome to the Hellmouth, they had that 2 minute promo before it.
Yeah.
Like where they talked about all the previous Slayers, like in LA, Vancouver,
Yep.
Louisiana. But obviously, they only showed that once, and then they never showed it. They've never shown it again
Yeah.
because of how long that intro was. Because like it took to like 55 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But which was a shame because it's like such a good intro.
Yeah, especially because it gives so much context. If you haven't seen the show before, or if you're just jumping into it, it gives you so much of the information you would need to just step into an episode and be like, all right, I roughly know what's going on here.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But like, I just love how them first 2 episodes set up the rest of the season because like to get them two right, you need. But but yeah, let's talk about the rest of season 1. Obviously got Witch. What like we'll go through the episode. Like we'll go like through 'em. So you got God, I used to know these episodes off by heart. So episode 3 was Witch. What's your take on Witch?
So I really like that episode. I really like that episode because it's the first time we're sort of seeing Amy. But also, wait a minute, am I remembering this right? Which is the episode where Amy's mum has taken her
Yeah,
body?
that's
Isn't
the
it? Yeah.
that's the episode. Yeah.
I'm terrible with episode names. I'm the same with like TV shows, everything, song names, awful at it. The actual song, the lyrics, and everything involved in it, I can remember, but the name, no.
Yeah.
I love that episode because it really shows that monsters aren't just vampires. They aren't just scary things under your bed and all the things that Giles mentioned in the first episode. It can be your own parents. It can be the demons at home. It can be the people in your own life that are the scary thing that is affecting you. And I think for, like, obviously the first 2 episodes are one story. So, like, for the second story of a very new series, I think that it was very bold of them to come straight out the gate with, here's vampires, psychotic mum witch. Here you go. Psychotic cheerleader mum witch. There you go. Like, it's almost as if he somehow foresaw dance mums was going to be a thing. Because I feel like Amy's mum would have been the head. She would have been the Abby Lee Miller.
Yeah.
That would have
I've
been her
watched a
role.
few Dance Moms, and like when they came out, yeah, and she was proper like full on, wasn't she?
Honestly, see, when I watched Dance Mums, my first thought was that would have been Amy's mum. That 100% would have been Amy's mum, and she would have been doing all of this, and then eventually lost the temper and stole her body and went, I'll just do it myself. But I love that episode, especially, obviously I know I'm jumping the whole episode. See the very last scene in that episode where you just see the eyes in the statue move.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
it's still there, isn't it? Like in
years
season 2.
later, Oz says it.
Yeah.
Oz is looking at it an episode, like a season, maybe 2 seasons later. I think it's
Yeah.
season 2, but I might be wrong. Where he's just staring at it going,
Yeah.
and says to Willow, it's almost like the eyes move and they just totally gloss over it. And I love that because it's just this tiny little callback to the fact, yep, no, Amy's mum's still there. She'll be there forever.
Yeah.
Well, actually, did Amy's mum blow up with the school?
She will have done, yeah.
Oh, well, Amy's mum's gone. It's fine.
Yeah, I love that episode as well. It's one of the better episodes. I mean, there are a lot of good episodes in season 1, but that's probably one of the better ones. The next 2, I'm on the fence with. I can watch it, but I'm not thingy with Teacher's Pet, where the praying mantis. I'm like,
yeah,
it's a episode that you can watch, but not. The one thing I do like about that episode is the vampire with the claw.
Yes,
The metal claw. I think is that episode should have been about him. Like,
100%.
So underutilized. It's crazy.
I feel a wee bit bad saying this because it kind of sounds like I'm just blanket dismissing them all, but I'm not an enormous fan of the Xander-centric episodes. And it's not so much...
like the Zeppo and all, like, yeah.
The Zeppo is probably one of my least favourite episodes. And it's not like a really bad episode. It's just... It solely focuses on him.
Yeah, like with everything, like the apocalypse going on in the library with the Hellmouth coming up, and then they're not.
Like, yeah, there's a demon with big tentacle arms coming out of the middle of the floor in the library. Why am I watching Xander talk his way out of a situation? I want to see what's going on with the big tentacly monster thing. I don't care what Xander's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I do like bits of that episode. Like, I like how it sort of establishes the relationship where Willow secretly likes Xander and he's completely oblivious to it, and it sort of gives you the first kind of breadcrumbs of that relationship, and you sort of seeing that she's been harbouring these feelings for all this time and he's just seen her as his best pal the whole time. I like this kind of relationship aspects of the episode, but I do find it one of the sort of less good ones of the season. Especially, I know it was 97, right? but the CGI on some of the mantis, I'm just like, oh god. Every time I watch it back, I'm like, oh, I could do better on an iPhone now.
The one thing I do like, apart from that, is where she's got the cassette tape and she goes, "Listen to this," and it's Giles talking, and she's like, "It's like it's the wrong side. It's the wrong side."
Oh, but yeah, like it wasn't a terrible episode. I felt terrible. I felt really bad for the teacher though, who had his head bitten off just for
Oh
story
yeah,
plot.
yeah. It was. There's another funny thing I like about it, where obviously Cordelia finds him in the fridge, and
Yep.
then she's talking to the she's like, "Oh, I'm not like saying about talking about his drama, but I think I lost 5 pounds on the stress of it."
I do love Cordelia because she's so individually coded. Like she's such a single point of like her own point of view all the time, but so just the character's really well written and it just so authentically herself all the time, no matter what situation's going on. Like she just does not care. She'll just
Yeah.
give you the exact same answer, whether the world's ending or she's a good mood or bad mood. It's just the same.
Right, moving on to Never Kill a Boy on a First Date. That that's another one I can watch, but not like. I mean, I like the only bit I like is where they talk about the United,
Yeah.
where they attack the bus. Obviously, the United shall rise and lead the Slayer to a death and everything. I
Yeah.
like that. Like that again. They could have focused so much on that. And the guy who got made a vampire in the morgue, they could have made the episode about him as well,
Yeah.
instead of focusing on bloody Ethan.
Yeah, like the whole anointed one thing, I felt kind of fizzled out a bit. It was almost like they started it off and they didn't really know what to do with it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm glad they ended it with season 2. Like,
yeah, I think that was possibly the best introduction to Spike we could have gotten. Although
yeah,
I know I'm jumping. I
uh,
do love that he is so over the top. And the first two episodes he's in, or the first, no, sorry, just the first episode he's in, he was so over the top. James Marters has done interviews where he was basically like, I was aiming for like Lawrence of Arabia kind of thing, like
mm,
Laurence Olivier, like big, dramatic. And apparently Joss walked in and went, yeah, it was good, just tone it down a bit. Like, too much, too much. So he kind of calms the theatrics down a little bit from that point on. But I love in just that initial sort of view of him where he's so big and
yeah,
grandiose that he's swinging the arms out while he's talking and he's like, oh, I was at the crucifixion. Like, no, you weren't.
yeah,
All of that, just excellent introduction to him.
yeah. Next episode, the pack.
Yes,
I
love
love,
that episode.
yeah, the hyenas. Yeah, it's like one of the ones that I do love to watch.
I think
So
it is one
obviously,
of the top ones from that season, full stop.
the good thing I like, one of the bits I like about it is the dodgeball scene
Yeah,
with the coach. He goes, "God, this game's brutal. I love it."
I love it. Yeah.
Just
I
absolutely.
I love the so I get really, really interested in the sort of psychology of the episodes of like the way that they've gone about writing the actual characters and the kind of where they're coming from. I think it's probably because I dissect everything to try and steal bits from. But I have always loved that episode in particular because of especially that scene, the dynamic that it shows you, and it shows you how easily, even without being possessed by a ravenous African hyena because of some crazy man with a shaky bone, that in school in general, pack mentality is a real thing.
Yeah,
It happens, and it showed you how easy it was for somebody who was not in the pack, somebody who was considered outside of and other than, and was bullied, to suddenly be indoctrinated into that and get rid of their friends, like their family, like shun everyone outside of that pack mentality. And I love that it's got that kind of double edge to it, where you've got literal pet pack mentality. They're being possessed by hyenas, And then the sort of double entendre on that, where it's also pack mentality of teenagers and how that affects the real world and real world relationships. And I love how he manages to do that while also killing Mr. Flutie in quite a funny way. I felt bad for the pig though.
Oh, yeah. The Razorback pig. Yeah, the poor thing. But yeah, again though, like, obviously, no one picks up, like, no one has a go at Xander for eating the pig. Like,
They don't have a go at Xander for eating the pig.
or sexually assaulting Buffy.
Yeah, full on sexually assaulting Buffy, and then at the end of it, he's like, "Oh, I don't remember anything." And I love that Giles knows he's talking nonsense. I love that Giles picks him up and is like, "Oh, thought you couldn't remember anything."
Yeah, in season 2, where they talk about the werewolf, and he's like, I'm sensing, he's like...
Yep. And he's like, "Wait, what? Thought you didn't remember that." But yeah, like, it's just the way that he's just casually like, "Nope, that didn't happen. Nope, don't remember that."
The one thing that annoys me about that episode is when they attack that family in the car. Now, all of them get in the car and they leave the front door open.
I know. Like, I've always thought that the way that they handled that was really odd. Like, I know obviously it's a TV show and it's not real, but like, run back in the house and shut the door. But like, you're a lot more safe in there than you are in the car.
Yeah, like what?
Like, yeah, let's just jump inside the car that they can jump on top of, break the windows, drag me out of. Yeah, that seems like a great idea.
But then there's obviously when Buffy jumps on top of the car and she goes, she's like egging it on. She's like, "Come on, you know what you want."
Yep.
Like, so obviously she knows he likes her.
Yeah.
So why egg that on and then and not
I will
just...
say, I think that was just bait. I think that was just to get them away from the family. But yeah, it does kind of try to think how to word this. It does kind of put that onus on Buffy a wee bit. Well, you distracted them by saying, "Come and get it." Like,
Yeah.
but then at the same time, it's like, yeah, still no. Still no. And like, there's a few times where things go awry and Xander kind of ends up in a position, especially the first 3 seasons, ends up in a position where he's in a bit of a position, like the love potion episode.
Oh, Bewitched, Be Bothered and Bewildered, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good episode. I like that one.
Episode. But there's that bit where Buffy is fully, and to his credit, he is kind of going, no, this is wrong. But like, there's the bit where Buffy is essentially trying to mount him in the library as well, and it just all feels a bit.
Well, I wouldn't remember that scene.
No, totally not. No, definitely not. I mean, I will say, I remember watching Buffy as a 7, 8, 9-year-old, and at the time watching it and being very much like, all the boys in this are cute. All the girls in this are cute. Why is everybody in this cute? And then that was that kind of moment of twig. Oh, I'm a little bit gay. Right. That makes sense. Because you know that way, I remember seeing that scene with Sarah Michelle Gellar and she's got the coat and everything on. And I remember thinking, stuff Xander, I want to kiss you. There we go. Get Xander out the window. Just get him lost. I'm a wee bit young, but let's pretend that doesn't exist. Get him out the window. And do that way, that was the Buffy really was that kind of click moment for me where I went, oh, right, okay. So that's what we are. Okay. But yeah, like that scene permanently burned into my brain forever.
Right, next episode we've got, now this is a big one because this is where we find out a big surprise. Angel.
Yes.
Yes.
I love this episode. In fairness, when I was younger, I was the biggest Angel stan on the planet. Absolutely loved him, could not see past him until my mother turned around one day and said, "He looks a little bit like your dad." Instantly killed it. Done. Raging. Never been able to look at David Boreanaz the same. Not just look at him and I'm like, oh, yep, no, he does look like my dad. Yep.
Oh.
That's the end of that then.
Oh dear. But then again, obviously, like through the episodes, you get like little snippets of the Master, like through like all the episodes. But then again, even though the episode's focused on Angel, when they send out the three, that could have been an episode on its own as well.
Yeah, I think with the first season, they had a lot of ideas, but obviously with only getting the 12 episodes, I think they've just tried to cram as much in to pique interest as possible. But it kind of feels like they undersold some of the ideas, like they've tried to cram
Yeah,
too many of them in, because I totally agree, that could have been a complete episode in itself, just with the three. And
yeah,
then you could have had a separate episode to do the rest of it.
yeah. That's what I mean. But like, it was such a good idea. I mean, they could have got rid of Never Kill a Boy on a First Date and put the three in with the Anointed. Like, they could have joined them
Yeah.
two together. Like, made that like a packed episode.
I really, really like the I think it was the one you were talking about, the Nightmare episode.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah,
I love that episode, but do you know that way it felt a little bit out of joint with the rest of the series, and I feel like they would maybe have been able to put it in a later series and maybe eked out some of the ideas from the other episodes in that place. Just because, do you know that way it's a standalone episode that only kind of ties into the other ones. Like, obviously, the Master comes into at the end of it. That's the
yeah,
only thing I would say really specifically ties it to season one. But it was such a good concept and such a good episode that I think that, see, if they had maybe not done it in season one and maybe done it in season two,
yeah,
obviously that would have changed the context of the ending a wee bit. But I think they would have been able to flesh it out a little bit more and get a bit more funding.
yeah,
Obviously, having already been picked up, to really fully realise how amazing that episode could have been. Because like that concept in itself for that one episode would actually make an amazing film. Like it's such a meaty concept that there's so many different facets to that you could literally have done anything with it. But
yeah,
I've always thought that that's that one episode that, like, apart from the ending, you could pluck out and put somewhere else, would be improved, and then you could obviously have maybe got an extra episode in there with like the trio or various
yeah,
other things.
yeah. But yeah. So the big reveal in Angel was obviously finding out he's a vampire.
Yes.
To be honest, I didn't see it coming. When I very first watched it, when he glanced away, and I was thinking, what's up with him? And then he spun around, and I was like, oh, right. And then he just does that like dive out, and then little army crawl down the road. I was like,
I will say, right, I used to slag Twilight, right, really badly. Like I used to slag it something rotten. It was never my thing. But see, looking back on Buffy, when you really think about it, the 225-year-old vampire who's just like, yes, I'm just going to climb up your bedroom window and come into your room, 16-year-old child. This is totally okay. Like, now looking back on it, I'm like, oh no, that was exactly the same, and it was kind of weird. Just, like, there's a front door.
yeah. I mean, with Twilight, you had Bella, Edward, Jacob, and then the big controversy: Spike, Angel, Buffy.
Yep. One
Then
of them
then
stalks her in
Vampire
her room,
Diaries
the other
came
one's a bit
along.
of a
Then you
monster.
got Elena, Damon, Salvatore, like
Yep.
Stefan. Just trios all over the place. I was like,
Love triangles all over the place.
yeah. But yeah, and then obviously you've got Darla trying to bring Angel back into the fold.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Darla gets killed off. He kills her, which I was surprised. I mean, it's a bit poetic justice. She turns him, he kills her.
I love the thing as well where she's dressed in a way that's meant to mock Buffy. She's dressed like a wee blonde pathetic schoolgirl kind of thing in her head.
Yeah,
Like it's literally, she's meant to be like the um anti-Buffy in that sort of scene. Like she's dressed the same, she looks the same, but she's the complete opposite and a demon, and the reason Angel is the way he is. And I love that way where, again, the way they've dressed her versus the actual character that she is completely oppose each other.
yeah,
And it's such a thought out reason as well. Like I love noticing wee nuances like that throughout the show where you can see they put real effort into making sure all these things tie together. I'm not gonna lie though, gutted that Julie Benz had to die at that point and not come back until Angel.
yeah. I mean, she had flashbacks in season 2, but
Mm-hmm.
but they were just not justified.
Yeah.
I mean, see, she could have like stayed into it. I mean, she could have. Yeah, like
I
it's
would
a
have
bit of a
loved it
shame.
if she'd maybe been like, so like they do an Angel later on where her and Drew get set on fire, and then they obviously have to go away, heal, recuperate, get
Yeah.
minions, and then come back. I would have loved if they'd done something like that in season 1 of Buffy rather than straight killing her off,
Yeah.
so that she can maybe have been like a
I mean,
reoccurring problem for her and
in
Angel.
Welcome to the Hellmouth, she does get the harvest. She does get like holy water on the face, and she runs off.
Yeah.
So obviously, but saying that I was just saying where you said in Angel,
Mm-hmm.
that's like a proper killer scene where Angel just turns like proper, like he just loses it. In here, where the all Wolfram and Hart are in the cellar. He goes,
Yep.
oh, and just somehow I just don't seem to care, and just closes the door and it like locks them in.
Yep.
And
And then later on, there's the scene where Drusilla and Darla, I think they're trying to recruit people
and
at the
where
fighting
he's got
club,
the hoodie on, yeah.
and they're outside, and he just sets fire to them. Like the two of
Oh,
them are outside, and he just
it's like
lets the
that.
match go. It's
Yeah,
just that moment of I don't care anymore, and he just goes for it. Oh, it's such a good scene.
yeah. But then, like in Angel, like he loses where they hang him in the hotel, where the demon, the parasite, killing everybody, and he just goes, just kill them all. He probably like loses it then, doesn't he? Like in the 50s.
See, I love the fact that. So obviously, there's a lot of people simplify it down to Angel no soul bad guy, Angel with soul good guy. But I love the fact that Angel is still the same person, regardless. It's
Yeah,
whether he chooses to be good or bad that really shows who he is. But I love that they have those little moments in there, especially obviously in Angel, because it dives into his background a lot more, where it shows you that he doesn't always make the right choice. He's not just a good guy because he's got a soul. The soul just gives him the chance to choose to be good.
yeah,
But then you see these moments where I don't care, kill them all. Or like you said, when he gets hung in the hotel and he's just like, not have them all, don't care. Or, I mean, there's various other times where he's actively chosen to do the bad thing because he's angry. And I love that because it almost makes it so much more important when he does choose to do the right thing.
where he tries to kill Wesley in the in the hospital.
Oh, that was such a powerful. Like, do you know that way? That proper shocked me when I watched it the first time. I was sitting there fully aghast, mouth open. Like,
Yeah, because
I can't believe
he
that just
makes the
happened.
conversation where he's about to forgive him, and then he just
Pillow face.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, it's. I love that though. There's so many points in the show, both shows, where it just takes such a left turn that you weren't quite expecting. That you're like, oh right. It just
yeah,
takes you totally off kilter, and I love that. I hate when you can predict everything that's going to happen in a show,
yeah.
and then you're just kind of sitting there like, oh, I was right. Yay.
Yeah, right. Next episode, I Robot You, Jane. This one I can get away with because of Moloch. Obviously, we get introduced to Jenny Calendar, who
Yeah.
in season 2 and gets the fate. Yeah, gets the fate. But this one, it hits on like social and like online bullying.
Yeah.
Obviously, the guy gets hanged in he tops himself in the classroom.
Yeah, that was
No
that
one
was a
knows.
heavy
Yeah,
episode. That's another one actually where that's one that I use if I'm ever talking about the whole juxtaposition thing. That's one of my favourite episodes to use as an example because by the end of the episode, Malik looks like a big ridiculous robot. Like it looks like somebody went into the prop department and went, "Can we get everything that looks like it might go on a demon robot?" And we just slap it all on there. But the actual episode is a really important message, and it's got a really scary premise to it when you think about it. That's got real world connotations, but then you've got this ridiculous monster at the end that kind of makes it a little bit less scary, even
yeah,
though that's meant to be the scary thing. But yeah, see, especially for the time, like 1997, not everybody had the internet.
yeah,
Like we didn't get AOL in our house until I think I was about 12. That would have been like 2002, 3. But I remember watching that at the time, and it really kind of hitting home because at that point I was young, but I'd never heard of internet safety. of the
Yeah.
dangers of people online, of dating people online or anything like that, because it just wasn't common
Yeah.
discussion or common knowledge at the time. So even though it's obviously a bit dated now because we now have smartphones in our pockets and we can travel around with our computer in our hand rather than obviously sitting at home on a static, but it's got such an important
Taking the
message.
phone off.
Yeah, I like making sure nobody else uses the phone, and then you hear that kind of noise. But yeah, like it was such an important message at the time that no one else had really done yet. But then it's also ridiculous, family friendly, monster fun.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's like trying to get the right balance.
yeah, I feel Buffy did that really well, especially in season 1, because it's already a concept that's a bit hard to sell at like 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So, because that's still within the watershed, especially at the time. So, I think they did a really good job of sort of teetering on that line of really serious issues and scary things, kind of funny, so you're not going to bed having nightmares. Or at least I think so.
Right, next up we've got the puppet show with Sid the puppet.
Trauma. That's all I'm going to say about that episode. Trauma. That episode genuinely gave me a fear of the doll. See, is it Slappy?
Yeah.
No, it's not Slappy. That's the clown from the Nightmare
Sid.
episode. Oh, what's his name? The demon hunter who's turned into the doll.
Sid.
Sid, that's it. For years after that, I don't know why, but it's really, really freaked me out. Even though he was meant to be on the side of good, that wee doll freaked me out so much. I had a China doll in the house, got rid of it. Nobody buy me dolls. I don't even want Barbies. Nah, none of it. Freaked me out. I was convinced, absolutely convinced that it was going to come awake during the night and kill me.
Oh.
It's the only thing, see, from the full 7 seasons of Buffy, because as I said, I started watching at 7 years old and kept watching until I was 13, like, without ever missing an episode. Like, it was the most important thing in the world. I would have refused to go on holiday if it meant I was going to miss Buffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, but the only thing in the full 7 years of watching that TV show that ever gave me a nightmare was Sid the doll.
Oh.
Just freaked me right out. But it's such a good episode. Like, it's an amazing episode.
Yeah, we get
especially
introduced
who done
to.
it.
Yeah, we get introduced to Snyder.
Yes. I've forgotten. I'm going to say this. I'm pretty sure it's wrong. Armin Zimmerman.
Yeah,
Yes. I loved him anyway. I am a massive Trekkie. And I loved Star Trek Next Generation, DS9, and he played one of the Ferengi, like the kind of main
Is that when he's
Ferengi.
got the bumps on his head?
Yeah, it almost
Yeah.
looks like a butt on his forehead and the big ears.
Yeah.
And I like, do you know that way? As soon as he came on the TV, even without all that makeup, I recognised his voice and the way he carried himself immediately. I was like, "Oh my god, it's him!" And then he turned out to be the biggest dick. I was like, "Oh, even better."
Yeah, I love. Do you know what? I love Snyder. Like the comments he makes. He's like, this is a new school. Principal Flutie might have been all loving, happy, and feely, but he was eating.
Yeah. It's just the absolute bluntness. And I also love that they don't ever hide the fact that he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, he fully is aware, and it, like, oh, well, just to say it's kids on PCP and things like that. Like, I love the fact that he knew the entire time, and
See,
yet still hated her.
See that there's another thing because he knows that they're living on a hellmouth, and obviously the police are in it as well. Like, are in on it too. Like I came up with a theory. Like, is Principal Snyder a secret watcher that's like came into Sunnydale to be on Buffy's back to stop being all like friendly and like what Giles was to stop her doing, like to be all friendly and just
Like
just
the
constantly
anti-dad figure.
just constantly focus on the demon, like on fighting demons instead of going to school, making friends, exposing your
Yeah.
identity.
I like that. That's similar to what my kind of theory was, but mine was that. So do you know how in season 4 we obviously get the initiative?
Yeah.
So for that to come about, for there to be an initiative, for it to be a mobilised unit, then there must have been like levels of information have gone through a chain to get to the point where the government have sent people out. So my thought originally was that Snyder, the mayor, the police were all, because I think Snyder works for the mayor more directly than maybe anyone else, or at least in season 3 it kind of comes across that way, the way they communicate. Although it's quite funny, he's the one that bites his head off. But I always thought that there was maybe like a section of the world's governments, or the American government maybe, just that know that these things exist, and there's certain people who get deployed to places to do certain jobs to keep an eye on those situations. I always just figured that Snyder was one of those, or he worked directly for the mayor, and that's why he knew. But yeah, I always figured it was like one of the two, especially because with the initiative and everything else, it seems like there's more people in the know than we were ever led to believe before season 4, that there's people in the know. So it always just made sense to me there was maybe this sort of section of government that was like there to kind of oversee it all. Have you frozen? Oh, hello. Yeah, so is yours. I'm not sure how that's. Oh well. Um,
Hang on. I can't hear you. Your mic's gone off.
oh, there we go.
There
I
it
don't know
is.
why that did that.
Yeah. There's another thing about Snyder I love as well, where they're at the graduation, and he goes, "Oh, this is a time to be happy and to be celebrate. So sit down and be quiet."
I love
He
that.
goes, "You spit out that gum. You see me after graduation."
I love as well that when everything starts going to complete chaos, he is standing there going, "I am the principal. You will listen." Like speaking out just before he gets eaten. But I'm like, I love that he tried to maintain that modicum of power that he had right to the end.
Yeah, he's like talking to the various. He's like, "You're on my campus now, pal."
It's like, yeah, I'm sure the 10-foot, or sorry, 100-foot snake is gonna listen. Sure. Sorry, demon. I'm being corrected. But yes, sorry, I'm having things thrown at me. But yes, I loved Snyder's character, especially in, I know again, jumping ahead, Band Candy. I love Snyder's character in
Yeah,
Band Candy
that's a
because
good
it
one.
shows you what a snivelling wee
Yeah,
snot he was at school, and why he is the way he is now. It's like, I never had any power at school. Well, now I'm the one with all the power. And it's just so interesting to see him trying to chase Buffy's mum around like a wee lovesick puppy.
yeah,
And all she
yeah.
can see is
That's
Giles.
that is a good episode. Right, our next episode, obviously we touched on it earlier, is Nightmares.
Yes.
Where it shows everyone's biggest fears. Again, it's such a good idea that they've picked up on, especially like Buffy's biggest fear was a dad disowning her
Yep.
because
And
of
then also the graveyard where she becomes a vampire as well.
that's
Oh wait, no, is that not Giles's worst fear? Sorry.
that's Charles's nightmare, yeah. But the Master breaking free, that was their nightmare, another one. But it was good. Like, it was good to see her as a vampire because,
Yeah.
like, apart from Giles, like all three of them were big vampires, like through the series.
Yeah.
So,
Aye, because you had Doppelganger Land with the other two. Yeah, actually, no, I haven't seen. I think Giles is the only one, although he was a demon.
yeah, the
That's it.
Feraldi, yeah. You've got a proper thing on the spot there for all, David.
All I could think was the quote from Spike where he was like, "It's just a lot of snot and pus and anger."
Yeah. Let the good times roll. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, Nightmares. It's such like the boogeyman, or the ugly man, you should have said. Like I like how he gets a young what's his name, Joseph
I was trying to remember because I can see his face.
Ness. Yeah,
It's the boy
he's been in
from
every.
Third Rock from the Sun, isn't it?
Got Joseph Gordon. Oh,
Levitt.
it was.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
That's it. That's his name. Yeah, like he played. Yeah, like he had a young role in there, and then he went on to be in Dante's Peak.
Yep. I think he was the youngest sibling in Third Rock from the Sun as well. The aliens.
Yeah.
He's just brilliant. But yeah, I love that episode because 2 seconds. Are you having fun there? Sorry, my cousin has appeared with billiard balls. This is what happens when you put a load of wrestlers with ADHD all in one building. Yes, I love that episode because it's another example of.
I was just going to say they're doing work outside, by the way, like they're going to be pounding into the wall.
Right, okay. So we might have some noise disturbance. Apparently, the council are now outside doing work right up against the wall of the building.
Right,
So if you hear any banging, I do apologise. But yes, I love the fact that episode is another example of the real monsters are at home. Because obviously the actual monsters were just the manifestations of this poor boy's nightmares, but the actual monster was his little league coach.
Yeah,
like it was someone he trusted, his family trusted, it was somebody close to him, and it's another example in season 1 where it's showing you that monsters are real, but this TV show is showing you that those monsters exist in real life. These are just metaphors for what you're going through every day, or like what people potentially are going through every day. And I loved that. Like, growing up watching it was great because I'm not gonna lie, I learned so much from that show, so much. But it was really great to watch it back as an adult and then realise the messages that are in all of those episodes. Nightmare is my favourite one for that though, because I feel like the way that they do it, and because it's actual nightmares and the way that it's showing people's real fears, it's one of the most sort of psychologically reflective episodes that they have full stop through the full 7 seasons. And I really love how it's none of it's actually supernatural. It's just because they're on the Hellmouth. It's just this poor boy trying to process what's going on with him. And I love that because that's more scary than any monster or ghoul or werewolf or whatever. Because I mean that's something that happens in real life.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, like I love that episode. Like where Giles can't read. He's like, well, I can speak 5 languages. I was like, I can't. Just none of it makes sense.
Do you notice that they do that to James a lot though? Like they'll either take away his ability to read, or they'll take away his sight altogether.
Yeah.
Or they'll take away his ability to communicate.
Yeah.
And it like happens quite a few times throughout the whole series. I just think it's funny that when they do that, they always seem to go for his sight and speech.
Yeah, and then one of these days he's going to wake up in a coma.
That is one of my favourite Cordelia lines. It's just it's the slap and then the slapping someone with a head injury and then you're going to wake up in a coma. Oh, top tier Cordelia. It's just amazing.
What do you know? That's another video I actually made. A top 5 Cordelia Chase quotes, like from seasons 1 to 3. What was it? Number 1 was "What's your childhood trauma?"
Yep.
Where she pins her up against the wall. What was it? I can't remember. That was one of them.
What's the brain's just totally. Do you know the scene where Buffy's came back after killing Angel and she's got the PTSD and she's suffering and she's been a bitch to all of her friends. Yeah. And there's the scene outside the Bronze after Cordelia gets launched into the bins. and
That's
Cordelia
another
is the
one.
one. Yeah, I can't remember it word for word right now for some reason, but that quote, that moment where she's the one that's actually like, if you don't sort yourself out, you're going to lose everyone. I love that
Yeah,
from Cordelia because it shows that she's aware of who she is and she's aware of the way she behaves to people. It's not just a coincidence that she is like that. And it shows you that that there's a lot more to her character, that she can recognise that in Buffy and say to her, I'm meant to be a bitch. You're not.
yeah,
Like, people expect it from me, but you're going to lose everyone. And I love that moment of actually giving a shit about Buffy, actually caring about whether Buffy loses all her friends or not, even though she doesn't like her.
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Right, next up we've got Out of Mind, Out of Sight with the Invisible Girl.
Yes, first of all, I love, oh, sugar, her first name's just gone out my head, Duvall. I keep wanting to say Shelley
Is
Duvall,
it
but that's
the one who
not,
goes
that's,
invisible?
yes.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Her first name's gone out my head, but her second name's Duvall. She is excellent. I love her. She is such a staple in the horror community anyway.
Yeah, she was in the faculty, wasn't she?
That is one of my favorite 90s like crap horror films. Like, don't get me wrong, I love it. I think it's great, but like in general, it doesn't get great ratings. I think it's amazing. It's so good. But I remember I'd seen her in Buffy and then immediately saw her in the faculty and just obsessed with her after that point for a while. But she was so good in that episode. Like, the way that
Mm,
she plays the person who fears invisible, the way that she does it, it's really believable that she would feel like she was just fading into the background.
yeah,
Um,
no one paid attention. Yeah,
like, so like at the time, I was a kid who was being bullied at school, like really quite badly. And seeing that episode really meant a lot to me personally because I was already going into school, and if I didn't feel invisible that day, I wanted to be invisible because everybody was just like targeting. Watching that episode made me feel, first of all, like, oh, I'm not the only person that goes through stuff like this. Like, other people do go through stuff like this, which is, I think, is a huge thing for people, especially younger people watching anything,
yeah,
knowing that they're not alone in something is such a powerful message in itself. But watching that episode really sort of showed me that just because you feel invisible doesn't mean you are. Like, there are other people that will know who you are and they will care and they will um sort of, for lack of a better term, give a shit if you disappeared, and that it's partially a choice if you let it sort of beat you. That makes sense.
yeah. I get you.
But yeah, it's such a good episode, and the way that they do it for a 1997 show, where they managed to have the little clues and the music playing, and then like the wee footsteps and our wee hidey hole up in the ceiling. I think it was just such an inventive way of doing an invisible character that you only see in flashbacks.
Yeah,
Like, you hadn't
the
really seen
one,
that from much else.
the one. I mean, there is a few things that I do find funny. Where they're all sat in class and they're like giving their analogies on with the teacher, and Cordelia goes, "There was this one time where I hit this girl with my car on a bike, and she broke a leg, and she made it all about air. Like my pain meant nothing."
Oh, it's funny as well because we all know someone like that. We all know someone that would be like, "Oh, a small child ran in front of my car this morning, and now I have to get my car detailed." Like, we all know someone like that, but it's just such a good episode. It shows you as well that even though Cordelia is doing things on, like, she is a purposeful person, she maybe doesn't always realise that she's hurting other people.
Yeah, well, in that episode where she talks to Buffy, then you realise like she's got that side to it. I think that's like the pinnacle moment for Cordelia going forward the rest of the series. How
Yeah.
she feels invisible, she just wants to stay popular,
Well,
so she
that's the
doesn't
thing. That's
feel invisible.
that's the first episode that really humanises Cordelia. Like,
Yeah,
it shows, it's the first episode that really shows her in a proper light other than just the mean bitch at school. It shows
yeah,
you that she's lonely as well, that she suffers with these things as well. She just pretends like she isn't. She just puts on the face of, I am the queen of everything. But she
Yeah.
still feels those things. And I thought, yeah, like it really gave her character a bit more to bite into and a bit more sympathy as well. So you weren't just looking at her like, oh, she's just the bitch character that's meant to bully them all. It really sort of started to show you the different facets of her personality, which I think is one of the reasons I love the episode so much, especially as funny as it looks. The end scene where Cordelia's tied down in the chair, Buffy's also tied down, and she's been given the numbing, and then the scalpel just comes out of nowhere and gets her in the face, which first of all does not scar.
Makeup.
Like, I can tell, funnily enough, watching season 1 of Buffy, so it's a wee bit of a tangent story. Watching season 1 of Buffy, again, 7 years old, I had 2 younger brothers who were not allowed to be out of bed at that time. And watching, I don't think it was this specific episode, but round about middle of the season, we had a computer table, as everyone did, that was made of metal. You know, those ones that had the pull-out drawer. It was right beside the seat that I was sitting on. So we didn't have a computer chair. You would basically sit in the armchair normally to watch TV, or you would turn sideways in the armchair to use the computer. That was what we had space for. This computer table had this tray. The tray was broken, so it was only the runners. I, being a complete genius, obviously, thought that if I pulled the runner out when I ran up the toilet across the chair, that no one would steal my chair. There was a barrier in the way, so no one's going to take my chair. No one's going to stop me coming back in time for Buffy after the advert. I'll run straight to the toilet and straight back, and it'll be fine. I completely forgot, me being the little ADHD nugget that I am, forgot that I had pulled this out and ran. I was so excited to get back for the next bit of this episode. I have ran and dove face first into said chair and slashed myself from there to there, which I still have a wee bit of a scar. It's really hard to see now because it's like years later, but there's a scar right there. Literally did not realise I had cut myself. Sat and watched the full rest of the episode of Buffy. Totally enthralled by what I was watching. Walked into the kitchen to ask for a glass of water before I went up to bed, and my dad has gone sheet white. Like, I remember distinctly he was doing the dishes because it was very odd that he was doing the dishes. Didn't normally. It was a very out of the norm thing that he was sitting there doing dishes. Walked in, he just went sheet white. Me thinking nothing's wrong. I've just scratched my face a wee bit. Oh, can I get a drink? And my dad has immediately went, "What happened to your face? What happened to your face? Your mum's going to kill me." And I'm like, "Oh, I just scratched it. It's fine." My dad then says to me, "Look down." I look down and I am bright red all the way down my front. I've not even noticed, because obviously the blood's been body temperature. I've not even noticed that it's there. And I had literally slashed my face from there to there. And it always used to annoy me on rewatches of this episode that I slashed my face open in the same place as Cordelia. But obviously, because this isn't movie magic, this is my actual face, I ended up with a scar and she didn't. And it always bugged me when I was younger that she never had a scar from that. Especially just because it was the exact same placement and everything. I was like, how come I got a scar and Cordelia didn't? And my mum's obviously, because that's TV, Ruth, and it's not real. But it's something I always watch when I'm watching it. I'm just like, that would have needed stitches. Definitely.
Yeah. The other thing I love about the episode is where Giles and Angel are in the library and he talks about the codex. That is one prop that I would love to get my hands on, but it's never been made. Which
One
is
of
a
those
shame,
ones where I'm like, I might just have to make my own one day.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just get like a book and just make the cover, the back cover, like the front and back cover of it.
Oh,
but
so
yeah, like
terrible. I'd probably just end up making a book from scratch. Like, again, I know I keep saying it, but the ADHD thing, like, I have so many different wee things that I like doing: resin making, painting, drawing, candle making, all these things. That, do you know, when I see something like that and I'm like, I want that, but nobody makes it, I will literally just find out how to make it from scratch and start wasting months of my life making it. So if you get a message from me in about 6 months' time going, "I did it," it's I've just made the book. It's fine.
But yeah, but then you get the end of the episode, and then she like goes to that school of assassins, and then nothing ever comes of it.
Gone.
Ever. Yeah,
Like,
like you
I
never
really
hear.
hoped they would maybe bring that back in Angel, because you know that way, because they had Wolfram and Hart. I always thought that it would maybe, because that's another bit where it's like the government are aware of this. They know it's happening, but then it's never mentioned again. And I'm like, well, that would have been. Can you imagine if Wolfram and Hart had had the assassins had the invisible assassins? That
Oh,
would
that'd
have
be
been
good.
such a good concept and such a good episode or 2 episode arc where you could have literally
Mm,
brought her back from season 2 of Buffy and had her
yeah.
be one of the assassins that was trying to stop Angel.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good one. Oh yeah, it's the Order of Tarak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been a good episode actually.
Like, I always wondered why they never, it felt like wasted potential, the fact that they never did the callback to the fact that there are
Yeah.
invisible government assassins. Thank you. Just in flying chocolate, sorry.
Right, so that brings us to our penultimate episode to season 1, Prophecy Girl, which again is another mint episode. Obviously, I'm gonna pick up. So there's a lot to talk about in this episode.
There's so much. Like, they managed to squeeze so much stuff into those last 2 episodes, and it's all really, really heavy. Like,
Yeah,
the
uh,
whole concept of her finding out that she's going to die at 16, like, it's
yeah,
predestined. This has to happen. You have no choice in it. And then everything else, like Angel trying to stop it from happening, Giles trying to stop it from happening, them joining forces to lie to her and try to stop it from happening. Like, there's so much happens. But it's so good.
yeah, yeah. Like where she kills loads of vampires on campus, and then obviously she turns the taps and the blood come up,
Yeah.
and then the big earthquake.
Do you ever
Like that's
feel?
just within what the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like? Do you know that way? And I know why they did it, because it was the first season, but they went so hard on that first apocalypse and how much effect it had on the things around, that I felt like the subsequent apocalypses were just a wee bit less spectacular.
Yeah,
Like, the next time they had a proper
yeah,
apocalypse, I'm like, where's the blood? Where's the blood raining from the taps or the sky? Where are the babies being born with random tentacles? Like, what's going on?
yeah, yeah. Like yeah, Jenny Calendar, she picks up on that, doesn't she? Like two-headed snakes and two-headed
Yep.
babies and all that. Like kids with their eyes turned inside out and
Yeah, I like born with their eyes inside out or not there, or like, because they make it such a big thing in like the first and second season, and then every apocalypse they have after that's just like, oh well, there's another apocalypse.
yeah. And you never find out who the monk was talking about all these prophecies.
Yeah, like there's that always bugged me, because, and it's also just like so convenient that she just so happens to be like, oh, by the way, I'm a witch. Oh, and by the way, I've been
Yeah,
talking to the exact right person that we need for this situation. It just so happens that he knows what we need to do. Like, it was all very. I know it's meant to set up that she's a gypsy and she comes from the gypsy
yeah,
family that Angel screwed over and blah 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 blah. But it just felt awful convenient all of a sudden for her to be like, I've been talking to the exact monk that we need to know the information from. Here you go. But in fairness, I think if they tried to flesh that out there would have been too much to put in 2 episodes if they'd fleshed out how she got that information more. I feel like if they
yeah,
brought the monk into it, it would probably have ended up pushing it into like a 3 episode story arc, which I don't think they would have gone for at the time.
yeah,
It's so
yeah. But then
basic.
obviously then the when Willow and Cordelia go to the school on the morning to go into that classroom and everyone's dead,
Yeah.
like all the blood and all. Like that's like a thing on its own. Like that doesn't get covered enough.
Yeah, and the fact that, so obviously they've spent the full season thus far with Buffy, but that's all still very new to them. It's the fact that even though everything Willow's seen, she's still absolutely rocked by walking in and seeing that. It's not like a comfortable concept for them yet. Like, they're not used to being around death as much as they are maybe like season 5, season 6, season 7. And it's quite jarring, I think, after having some of the sillier monsters that they had going along the way, or like some of the sillier episodes they had going along the way, to suddenly be like, here's an entire dead classroom of your friends, there you go. And I love the fact that it really sort of changed the tone. Like, just straight away, that one moment totally changes the tone, and everything from that point onwards is a bit more intense and a bit more dangerous feeling. Because obviously you see, especially with Willow being such a, I think Willow's one of those characters where you can gauge the general sort of what's meant to be the emotional response by what Willow does in the show, usually before she becomes a magic junkie. But like, she was always, or she seemed like the sort of person that represented the audience sometimes in how she reacted to things and sort of how she dealt with things. And I think that because she's the nice, sweet, quiet one, having her and Cordelia be the people that walk into that room and see that scene and seeing how much it hits her, I think that really sort of takes the audience into the right headspace for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. But then obviously we have Xander finally gets his answer off Buffy. She's rejected. She's in love with Angel. Then she finds out she's going to die. And then when she goes to fight the Master, she meets the Anointed One. But then again, they all thought the Anointed was the bloke from Never Kill a Boy on the First Date.
Yeah. Like, they don't really touch on it properly that he's a wee boy until, like, right at the end.
Yeah, so then Buffy goes to meet Fate with the Master. See, if I was there, and then no, you can't, like, you just wouldn't go down there, would you? You just wouldn't.
I always wonder, like, why would you not just buy a ticket to a plane and just go on holiday for 2 weeks? Like,
yeah,
what's he going to do if he misses his opportunity? He can't just do it again, so just leave. Just go. I know that's not the heroic way to deal with it. I know the hero way of dealing it is like charge in and die, but like, just go to Bali for 2 weeks. Go visit your dad. At that point, he was still kind of involved, so like, she could have just buggered off to her dad's house for 2 weeks. If I was 16 and somebody wanted to kill me, I think that's what I would do. I'd just be like, Dad, I'm coming to live with you for a wee while. Sunnydale's getting a bit dangerous.
But then obviously she fights him, she dies, and then he manages to break free. And then that's where, see, that's the other thing that like always made me wonder when they're talking about the Hellmouth, and she's like, well, where is it? Like, why wouldn't you like think about that, knowing that you're on a Hellmouth? Like, why wouldn't you like try and research where it is?
Aye, because they don't find out that it's. I'm really sorry. Would you mind if I just break for 2 seconds to jump to the toilet?
Go, I need a drink.
2 seconds, sorry.
Alright. Actually, I could do with a quick drink. 2 seconds. Oh. Actually, got a drink while you haven't. I'm not going to run there, should be thingy. Oh. Actually, I could do with a quick drink myself. Oh. While I'm waiting, I'm going to strawberry and cream flavour. Give it a whirl. See if it's nice. I was not horrible.
Oh, sorry.
You back?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry, where were we?
Location of the Hellmouth.
Yes, like, I know they eventually find out that it's under the library, but it did always like bug me. They have all these books about the Hellmouth and what goes on in Greenland and Sunnydale and all of this research, and they seem to know quite a lot. Why do they not know what it is? Especially if things are trying to open it periodically, like every year or so. How do they not know what it is?
Yeah, because they all thought it was the bronze where the harvest was, wasn't it? Like,
yeah. The other thing that always... If there's only 2 Hellmouths, why would every single Slayer not have lived in either Greenland or Sunnydale? It's something that I've always wondered about, because obviously you've got the Slayer Chronicles, you've got books, things outside of the series that take you through like the lore of like the first Slayer and then the Slayers that came before Buffy leading up to her, and it's something that I've always... Why were they not all just like... If you have the military, for example, and there's a really big threat that they need to keep an eye on, they're going to build a base right there and keep an eye on that and contain the threat. I've never understood why the Watchers Council hadn't put like a base at each Hellmouth. Like, surely you would think they would want to have as much power and resources at those 2 places as possible. And I'm aware that I am massively overthinking a TV show that's no real in real life. But it's just always bugged me. Like, do you know that way? Why is Buffy the first Slayer in Sunnydale? Because if there had been one before that, I'm pretty sure people would have worked out before now that it's not a normal place, and that there's a young girl killing things all over the place every night and then sneaking back to her bedroom. So, like, why is she the first one there if the Hellmouth's been there the whole time? Like, it makes no sense.
I don't know.
It's just always bugged me.
That is something to touch up. Oh, yeah, something to go on, yeah.
Because obviously in Doppelganger Land, or no, actually, is it? No, it's not Doppelganger Land. Sorry, it's the Wish. In the Wish, she's sent to Greenland instead. But how come she's the only Slayer that's been actively sent to either Hellmouth? It just seems really odd.
Yeah, that's a good subject to pick up. Actually, talk about. But yeah, then obviously we you see the Hellmouth erupt for the first time in the over-the-top CGI practical.
I have to say my number one CGI, awful CGI, is the mayor.
Oh,
Nothing is ever, especially, see if you watch, because obviously there's a bit of a difference between the original of the show, the HD remaster of the show, and then the version that gets shown on Disney.
Yeah.
And if you watch, because if I'm being lazy, I'll just watch it on Disney, because I can do it on my phone and I can just sit and watch it while I'm doing things. If I'm really settling in, I'm watching my original pre-HD DVDs. I do have my VHSs there, but I'm keeping them good. And then if I don't care, then I'll just watch the HD up, remastered. But there's so many things that change between the three. I don't know if you've ever noticed, like with the HD, there's a whole bunch of scenes that are meant to be at night. They're now during the day.
Yes.
It removes the filters and things like that, or it's like changed the framing of the shots and things. And like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, I got on a tangent there and I forgot why I went down this route. I hate when that happens. There was a reason I started going down this route and it's completely gone. No, but anyway, yeah, I just think all of that's really interesting, to be honest, and like how. Oh, sorry. Hello. Oh, you're just bored. Sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. I've completely lost what I was talking about. He's just dancing about. Right, I'm so sorry.
Right, I'll continue. Right, so Buffy dies. The Master breaks free. The Hellmouth rises, and then when she gets brought back to life, she goes on the march, and then we hear the iconic theme tune.
Yes.
For the first time, I think that's the only time that they play it. I think
at the end of the show, yeah. I think it's the only time they use that at the end.
Yeah.
And it's the only time they use it as the actual background music for a scene.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I meant. Yeah.
I absolutely love the end of that. First of all, I love the fact that she goes to fight him in her prom dress. I think there's a lot as well. There's a lot to look at with the visuals for that shot as well, because of the dress they've chosen, the type of dress they've chosen, the way that they've dressed her. It's all meant to be very like off-white dress. It's all meant to be very kind of symbolic of she's only 16. She's still a young girl. There's obviously connotations with like the white dress and stuff as well. And it's almost like there's all the symbolism there of a coming of age moment, but her coming of age moment is fighting him. It's like most TV shows where you have teenagers involved, your kind of coming of age moment would be like American Pie, for example, where they were all like trying to become men through like the process of that. In Buffy, it's not to do with that. They don't even, sex hasn't even come into the program yet. Her coming of age moment and coming of age as a Slayer moment is, even at just 16 years old and the girl she is, she's still going straight on to face it, knowing full well that she's going to die. But she's doing it the way she wants to do it, dressed in the thing she wants to wear. And do you know that way? I just feel like, again, that's like a really powerful image at the end of that show. Seeing her go from the white dress with the leather jacket over and looking all prim, proper, ready to go to the prom. And then by the end of it, she's overcome death. She's overcome the master. She's done all of this. Her dress is absolutely bogging, but she's come through it, and you can see that there's that power there.
Yeah.
Like she's really come into her own self, and I think it's one of my favorite endings to a season. Just full stop. Like I think it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite season ends in Buffy anyway, like in general. But just for TV as a whole, I think it's just such a good powerful image, and also the fact that the person that saves her life isn't a supernatural being. It's not Angel. It's not. It's Xander. It's just normal bog standard Xander. He was the one, and it's. I think I'll not go into why I think it's always Xander that saves the day at the end of the day, because we know why. But I do think that it's really important that they show that it's not always the big strong vampire man or the big supernatural thing. It's the everyday man that can be the savior at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree.
It also shows Angel's limitations as well, because he just straight up can't breathe.
Yeah, that's true. That's also true. And then obviously the master gets his comeuppance. He gets killed, full skeleton, which is awesome.
I do love that you have that distinction between him and the other vampires, that he is so old that he didn't just completely turn to dust. That or he's either such a pure vampire.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question.
Good.
Do you think that the master is a much closer relative of the two Turok? Sugar, how do you say again? The original vampires.
Turakan.
That's it. Because he doesn't look like any other vampire.
the
yeah, he's got the fruit punch mouth, yeah. So, like, do you know that way he looks more like them than he does the other vampires?
Yeah. Just I know that because the master's that old, he's lost his human features, like he's that way all the time.
Like, I know they explain it that way in the show, but it's always just, ever since they introduced the original vampire in season 7, looking at them, they're very similar featured. They look like a more grotesque version of the master.
Yeah, it's possible.
So I always wondered if it's just because
I've never really thought about that.
Because, like, realistically, given how old the master's meant to be, there can't have been that many more vampires between when he was made and when they were.
Yeah.
Like, compared to now. I've always thought of it as like a virus. So, like in Alien versus Predator and Alien and all of that, it mutates depending on the person that it goes into. I always wondered if it was the master was just like a more pure version of vampire, because he was closer to the originals rather than diluted down to like Angel and stuff.
Maybe. Do you know, I've never really thought about that actually. It's possible. It's possible that it could be.
I did wonder if they deliberately, like, do you know that way? I know it's a bit of an egg and chicken situation because obviously the Master came first TV show wise, but then they're writing lore that's actually like thousands of years old.
Yeah.
But I did always wonder if they maybe deliberately designed the Turrican to look a bit like the Master to tie that in.
Yeah, but well, it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, something to think. It's definitely something to think about. But yeah, and that's it. That brings us to the end of season one. I don't even know how long I've been talking here. That brings us to the end of season one. We'll stop at season one on
Okay.
the season because if we just keep going and going, we'll be here forever.
Oh yeah.
But we'll save maybe season two for another video.
I was going to say I'm always happy to talk about Buffy anytime. So.
Well, yeah. Well, if you want, we can do. We'll just do a video on each season if you want.
Yeah, I'm good with
That
that.
way, instead of just doing it all in one go, we'll do season two in one video. Then we'll do season three in another. Season four. We'll just work right through them if you want.
That sounds excellent. What I will do though is, just because it's directly related to season one, I brought something with me that is one of my favourite prized possessions from season one.
Oh, see, I've got the Master, but in do you know the bigger box
Yes,
where it's like
I'm
where
looking for one.
he stood on the do you know like with the cross behind him and he stood on it like
Yeah.
it's like the 12-inch statue of him.
Yeah, it's like the set piece that has him on the actual mounted bottom.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I've got. I haven't brought that with me because I've already got enough stuff to bring.
Do you know that way? I was
Bring up.
looking through stuff this morning, and because I was bringing it out the house, I was like, "Oh, I'm going to need to watch what I'm bringing because if I damage anything, I'm going to be really annoyed with myself." So
Yeah.
I did leave. I have the 3 Evolutions of Willow box set
Oh yeah.
where all 3
In
of
the,
them are
in the,
together.
is it the witch, the god, Dark Willow, and
Yep.
the other one?
So you've got
That's it.
original Willow where she's the witch with the ginger hair and all cute. You've then got Dark Willow from season 6, and then you've got Goddess Willow from the end of season 7, all in one display. And
Yeah,
it's
see.
one of my favourite pieces, but it does not leave the house.
I'm not surprised. Saying that, the Master I was just on about, I think I got that off eBay for like 15 quid. Like,
That's excellent.
decent. Yeah, I got. That's what I'm saying. Like, I've got a lot of like mint stuff out of off eBay,
Yeah.
and there is like a comic shop in our town that normally gets like they normally get like loads of Buffy gear in. Like, I bought the Buffy cards, like playing cards,
Yeah.
like both sets, like in a silver tin, for like £4.
Excuse me. That's all right.
Yeah, and
Sorry. You good? You having fun? This is my life, by the way. It's just the two of us annoying each other. We try to keep a serious face and him poking me in the face with things and dancing. Although I can't complain
out
because
the
he is
same
the one that
shop.
gave me this.
Do you know the bobbleheads?
Yes.
Do you know where it's got like the statue with like Buffy and Angel, like the mounted
Yes.
stands and then the big bobbler? I got both of them for £5 out of the shop.
Oh, that's excellent. So we
Yeah,
have a couple of comic book shops near us. There's one not far up the road. I think it's Forbidden something. Forgotten World. That's it. I'm terrible. We've also got a few different Forbidden Planets up here, and then there's a few independent comic book shops around. So we're spoiled, to be honest, for choice. I'll be honest, car boot sales up here a few times. I've found some really good Buffy stuff just randomly.
yeah. That's where I got a load of my a few like load of the do you know the little novel books?
Yeah.
Like a woman was selling like about 20 odd books for like 10 pence each.
Bloody
So
hell.
like I just snatched them. I just snatched them all up. But in the because like when DVDs came out, I got rid of a lot of my VHS, and I got rid of all my Buffy because I bought them on video. I bought them on DVD, and when I was watching it, I was like, I prefer my VHS. So I've been looking for ages just to get season 1 because that's my favourite season. And there's a charity shop up Gisborough, and they were selling like loads of they always sell like loads of VHS,
Yeah.
and they were selling the Buffy box sets for 30p a box set. So they had seasons 1 to 6. They had seasons 1 to 6 for 30p each. And I was like,
That's amazing.
I was like, I only want season 1 because I've got nowhere to put them up. So there, I got season there, like
Nice.
for 30p. Like I couldn't complain.
Excellent.
Like, but yeah, this I bought when the first season came out. Like that, I've not lost that.
That's excellent.
So
See,
it's
I
like
had to do it all as an adult.
It's Welcome to the Hellmouth and the Harvest put into one book, issue 1.
I really wanted those so badly when I was younger, but my mum was always really reluctant to buy me anything like that. So I didn't actually get any Buffy books or media or anything until I was much older. I'm just fully living out my childhood as an adult. I don't care. But yeah, I've pretty much spent about 3 years collecting all of these.
Oh,
So,
I've seen them. What are they? Are they just the
yeah,
story after the
so
series, or what?
there's so there's season up to season 7 of the show, and then you've 8, 9, 10, and 11, I think, as comics, or at least that's what I've gotten so far. And basically, the comics are normally issued in like a normal comic book form. These are
Yeah.
the entire, so they'll split the season into 4 parts, basically like a quarter for each season. These are a quarter of each season. So they
Right.
hardback bind them all into one story, and you end up with full comic book pages. They're absolute full panel style comic book pages, but they're all hardback and like hard jacket covered, and they are my prized possession. I absolutely love them. But it's have you ever read the comics after the series?
No, I don't know. I just once it finished, I just haven't gone past it. Like I've just stuck with the series. I've never.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something I couldn't get
I'd
into.
say
But
it is a bit off the. So obviously, with a TV show, you have some more restrictions there as to what you can actually do, or there's like a budget that would restrict how many special effects you could use or whatever. Obviously, with comic books, you don't have that. It's
yeah,
just writing down the story and producing the story on paper. So they get to be a lot more off the wall than they would have been in the TV series. Like straight out the
yeah.
bat, Xander and Dawn get together, which I'm not gonna lie, I did not like because personally, I just like used to babysit her. It's a bit weird. But yeah, so Dawn and Xander end up together. Dawn gets turned into various magical creatures in the 8th season. At one point, she's a centaur. Another point, she's a giant. It's very odd. Willow starts sort of. She's now in her full goddess era, and she can now jump between dimensions, go and talk to other gods, do whatever she wants to do. Spike has a spaceship. Aliens crashed on Earth. Spike stole their ship, and now Spike has a spaceship. Like, yeah, it gets really weird, but it's like good. Buffy and Angel kind of get back together briefly. Nearly destroys the entire world, but not for the reasons that you think. It gets very, very, very weird. Oh, and
Yeah,
Giles ends up a wee boy, and he's stuck that way.
I think I'll stick with the series.
Yeah, it gets very, very off the wall. And don't get
That's
me
a
wrong, I
bit
enjoy it. But,
too much for my liking, I think.
oh, and that's just a snippet because there's also Spike has his own comic. Faith and Angel have a comic together. Who else was there? Young Giles has his own series because he has now irreparably been turned into a child and has to grow up again with the full knowledge of being an adult.
Oh,
Yeah, there's so much going on in the comics. It's absolutely mental. But I love it.
But right, right. My next one is
Oh my god, is that pilot?
it's
Or
the
is that
unaired pilot on DVD.
Oh, that's so cool. 'Cause I've
So
only seen a digital
obviously,
copy.
I got our dad to get his camera and he just filmed it off YouTube. And then
Yeah,
obviously I've just got him to get a blank VHS case and a disc, and then
that's
just
awesome.
copy. So that's the front,
I
and
love that.
there's the back.
Oh, excellent. The iconic picture.
Yeah. So I've got that on DVD. Plus, I don't know if I might have mentioned this in the last video we did. So on my TikTok, I might have done. I'm sure I must have done.
I think you
On
did.
my TikTok about the fan made episode I made.
Yes, I watched that.
Yeah, so it was the Welcome to the Hellmouth, the Harvest, the Wish, and Prophecy Girl
I
all
don't think
gelled
I've
into one.
seen. Oh no, I have seen that. Yes, sorry. See when you said Prophecy Girl there, I'm going. Was there another episode I missed? No, I did see that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's where the Master breaks free. That's the clip from Prophecy Girl. But yeah, but that's so I've got all that
That's
on
awesome.
DVD as well. So yeah, so fan made and unaired pilot episode.
That's
So
excellent.
yeah, but I had so much fun like trying to concoct that episode up
Yeah,
because like it was just there like, and the ending to it you can like just take it anywhere you want. Is it a
yeah.
premonition or is it a dream?
I really like that though. I like when you get episodes of things where you just don't know, like at the end, or movies, like at the end of tongue's just given up on me now. It's like you've been talking for too long. Like at the end of Inception, where you realise that the
Oh
wee spinning top's still going, or at the end of that episode we're talking about before, Witch, where you see Amy's mum's eyes going, and you're like, oh, is she trapped in there or what? Like the kind of ominous ending to it, or like you don't know exactly what's going on. I think it's great when you can do that and have like an open ended. You don't know
yeah,
exactly. Is this a dream? Is this like you said? Is it a prophecy or is it? You just don't know. I love that because it leaves you with that and a wee bit of intrigue to be like, oh, I need to know more information. I need to see more. Make more episodes.
yeah. Right, what have you got next? What have you got to show me
Okay,
next?
so next we have my favourite intonation of Willow. We have Doppelgangerland Willow. Here we are. So
No.
am I wrong? No. Yes. No. Yes. Vampire Willow. So I was looking at it there and I realised the pictures in the back, it actually shows you
Oh,
all of the different willows. I went, wait, I have picked the right one, haven't I? Yes. I love all the different versions of Willow. Like Willow's one of my favourite characters in the whole thing because she has so much of a humanising story arc through completely supernatural means, if that makes sense. Like she goes from
yeah,
feeling completely powerless to feeling completely powerful to also thinking that she was straight and then working out, oh wait, maybe I'm not exactly straight, oh wait, maybe I'm a big lesbian. To the fact that she ends up a junkie to magic and all of this. Like out of everyone, she's gone through like the most kind of realistic story arc. Like
yeah,
if you relate it to real life, like she went from powerless to powerful, to confused to finding out she was gay, going through the entire getting addicted to magic, going through the consequences of getting addicted, and then rehab, and then finding out that it's not something you can just get rid of.
yeah,
Like all of it is tied up in metaphors for life. But I love that the way that they've got such visual differences between all the different versions of Willow. Like
yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
especially very hot vampire Willow. Like I can't even pretend that's not one of the reasons I love this character
Yeah.
so much. She's like just like look at her, she's so hot. But yeah, this was, so mostly today I brought comics with me and some of the figures, just because they were the easiest to sort of take with.
Yeah.
This one I've had for a wee while. As you can tell, I actually need to give it a wee bit of a clean because there's some dust on it. But I absolutely loved the 2 episodes. So there's obviously Doppelganger Land and The Wish that
Yes.
this character was involved in. And I loved the sort of moment that she gets with herself where Willow's interacting with Willow. I love that sort of moment of them interacting with each other and then her kind of going, and I think I'm kind of gay. Like, I just loved that whole episode. Doppelganger Land's one of my absolute favourites. And when the opportunity came to get this, I was like, that must be mine. Now, money, take it. There you go. But yes, she's my wee favourite, and I love the fact that she comes with her little packet of matches, her chains to chain up Angel, and a bullwhip. Which, I'll be honest, I don't remember her using a bullwhip during that episode, but I'm
No,
not
I don't.
not mad at it at all. Just set her back there. There we go. Do you want me to bring another one out, or have you got another one to show? You have the sign. You have the sign with the lettering. That is so cool.
Off eBay. So off eBay for, I think it was a tenner.
I'll need to go and have a look for that. That is awesome.
Yeah, oh, there.
Would it be bad
So
case to
that's
buy
right.
one and put it on the toilet door?
Yeah, just hang it up in the garage like that.
Oh, see, that's a better idea than what I had. I was thinking we could just hang it on my toilet door and just decorate the bathroom like a small bronze.
Right, I've got 3 more things to show. So what have you got?
Okay, so
Oh no,
most
make
of
that
mine
4.
is
Make it 4.
mine is mostly samey. So I brought 4 figures with me, and then I brought my comics with me. So what I'll do is I'll probably just bring the figures out and then show you the comics because they're all
Yeah.
kind of much of a
Yeah.
muchness. Next, oh, sorry, kicked the table. Sorry. The next figure that I have is actually a recent addition, and it was a present from my cousin Bobby. Just fix that. And I desperately want to open them up to try and fix it, but I can't. We have Spike.
Oh.
And unfortunately,
Oh.
his little book. A minute. His little book here has fallen out of place, and I desperately want to put him back in. But yes, so this is it's Grave Spike. So this
Yeah, it was
is
season 7.
yes. Do you know, I was about to say season 7. I suddenly went, wait, am I wrong? No, it is. It's season 7. It's Grave Spike. It's when he's all beaten up, and we've got the cross that he gives a big cuddle to.
Yeah.
Which I love. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. This is one that I have desperately wanted to take out of the box because I kind of just want to play with it, but I'm like, I can't. I want to, but I can't. But he is one of my favourites. He is one of the newer ones that we've gotten, and hence why I have not removed any of the stickers that people have put on yet.
Yeah.
But I absolutely adore him. He's one of my favourites. I will say I do kind of fall in the Buffy category. As much as I liked Angel, I was more of a Buffy person. Which upset me even more when they had that episode in season 6 where I was like, no, what did you do? Yeah, just like, oh dear. And then the last figure that I brought with me is Giles. He is one of my favourites. He's also one of the heaviest as well. He comes with like an entire grave for him to stand on. He has his battle axe, his various stakes, an entire bag full of weapons. Here we go, his book. And then just behind him, he's got this big grave site that if you take him out, you can stand him up on.
Oh, yeah.
It's excellent.
Oh, very nice.
This is part of like the original Scooby Gang sort of run. So it was like the original 5. Is it 5? 6, sorry.
Yeah. I got the Xander version of that for £4.
Oh, excellent.
Few months ago.
I always thought it was quite funny when you look at the back, the only one it shows you, so you've got doll form Buffy, doll form Oz, and then everyone else it's just a photo.
Yeah.
They're just like everyone else's doll's not quite right. We'll just use pictures for them. It's fine. But yes, this was also a present recently from my partner, but it's one that I have wanted for a very, very long time, and I am so glad that I've got him. I will say Giles is one of those ones. When I was younger, like, see, as I was a younger person watching the show, I fancied the pants off of, first of all, Angel, until my mum made that comment, and then that was in the bin. Fancied the pants off of Buffy and Faith and Spike. Never understood the Giles thing until I became an adult and suddenly realised, oh, Anthony Head was in his 30s. He was only in his 30s. He was not, like, do you know that way watching the show when I was younger? I thought Giles was like in his 50s and he was this pure saged human being that had all this life, and then you find out, no, he's actually about 34. Yeah, that's the age I'm about to turn. And do you know what I mean? But watching the show as an adult now, especially the Band Candy episode and the episode with Ethan Rain, the first time you see him with the
Halloween.
the name of the demon's gone out of my head.
What the two-headed god?
Oh no, I don't. Oh, it might be the episode where Jenny gets possessed by it, and then she stops talking to Giles. You remember when it's his fault?
With the tattoo.
Yes, I'm trying to remember the name of the demon and the god demon thing they were worshipping. It's just gone out of my head.
Hang on, I might be able to find it. Hang on.
But yeah,
I know what you mean.
But especially those two episodes, you know, watching it as an adult, I'm like, do you know what? I can see why my mum fancied him. But I kind of get it now, especially when he's being Ripper. Yeah, I kind of get it now.
Oh, I can't. Never mind.
Fair. But,
right.
Aye, it's one of those ones you either, what is it? You either, I'm trying to think of the Batman quote, like you're either
Igon, the mark of Igon.
That was it. But yeah, I feel like I've now watched Buffy so long that I no longer just aspire to be Buffy. I am now the age of her parents. You either see yourself become Buffy or you become Joyce, apparently.
My next book.
Oh, that's so awesome. Oh, I love the detailing on the outside. The proper made it look like it's a leather-bound book. That's excellent.
Yeah, so there's the back. It's all stuck together, so you can't open it. But that's what it looks like on the.
That's so cool, and it looks like they've gold tipped the edges, same as the original book as well. That's awesome.
I got that. £10.
Was that an
free
eBay
postage?
number?
Free postage.
That's so cool. Like, I desperately would love one of those. I'm still adding to the collection slowly.
A ton. It's so heavy, like what they've made it out of.
Just keep it near the front door, and then that way you don't need a baseball bat if somebody comes into your house. You've just got that book right there.
Oh, I've got something else for that. Dawn. I'll show you that in a minute. Dawn. Right, what's next?
Okay, so next I'm going to pull up. So another comic that we've got here, and the reason I'm showing this one is because it's one of my favourite cover arts for the entire series. So this book, this particular part of the series is focusing on Willow's journey and her relationship with Kennedy and how that suffers because basically she's like an interdimensional god essentially now. And it's, I don't know why, but I've just always loved the cover art on this particular series, especially as well at the back. You've got Buffy with the big tentacles and the sort of juxtaposition that they use between colour and like the non-colour. I just absolutely love this one. This is one that I keep displayed out so that everyone can see it at home, just because I absolutely love the art style of it. And I mean, Willow's on it. It's Willow. She's really pretty. Like, why would you not want to look at her? But yeah, just one of my absolute favourite cover arts for the comics, full stop. So yeah, there's that one there. So I feel like I've done all the really good stuff straight away, and now I'm just like, books. But yeah. There we go. That's actually something I forgot to mention really quickly in the comics as well, as obviously they're dealing with the aftermath of the spell. So one thing I will say that I found was really interesting about season 8 is that the world is having to adjust to having slayers all over the place, and it's become illegal to be a slayer. So the government are actively trying to round up all of the slayers, and Buffy's trying to save them all. So as much as it does go off the walls imaginative wise, like with centaurs and all sorts, there is also that sort of connection to the rest of the seasons where it's trying to work out what to do with all these potential slayers and who are now just slayers. Yeah, I know what you're about to pull out next. I saw a wee tiny corner of it and I'm buzzing to see it.
Oh, yeah, it was just this kind of Pepsi though. I don't know what.
Damn it. Oh, well. Yes! Oh, that's awesome.
Right, I'm going to have to stand back for this because it's taking
Yeah,
up all the
it's
screen.
quite lengthy. That's awesome. So, question, is that a it doesn't look like metal, is that a replica?
No, it's resin.
Right, okay.
It's all resin. But
Better that way.
so I got this because obviously the real ones cost like thousands.
Yeah.
So I got this off a website because there's a store that goes to my Comic Con in town.
Right.
They're called Zombie Survival School. And they do
Right, okay.
like loads of weapons like swords and gun, like all replica swords, guns.
I actually think I've met them before at a convention.
Yeah, they do. They travel all over. But yeah, they do like all like swords, guns, sci-fi stuff. And every now and again, they'll do on the website. They'll make like something for Buffy.
Yeah.
So the last one they did was the Faith Knife. But this, soon as I've seen this,
Yeah, that is awesome.
yeah, as soon as I'd seen this, you had to pre-order it, and they were selling. They only made it like a set amount. I think it was like maybe 50 to 100 or something like that, and they were selling it for £90.
That's all right.
Yeah,
Especially considering
so
how much a metal one have cost you.
yeah, so this like it's heavy as well. Like it's not
Mhm.
like you need two hands to hold it, but
Mhm.
yeah, for like as soon as I'd seen the price, I was like, I'm getting that.
Yeah.
For 90 quid. I mean, it's like proper
Solid
heavy
looking.
stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like
That's awesome.
it's
Nice.
proper. But yeah, it's like it's good. It's like one of my better pieces in the collection.
No, I've always wanted one of the scythes, but I've refrained because, again, there's a little bit of my brain going, just make one. Just make it yourself. Despite the fact I have no time to do that and I'm busy as is, but like, there's a little psychotic bit in my brain going, you could make that out of wood. You could definitely make one of those out of wood.
Oh
But
yeah,
then
if
I
you've
would
got
have
the
to
right
share.
tools for it.
I've got hands. The rest of it can all be jimmy rigged and worked out. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Right.
But no, that's amazing.
What's next in your comics?
So right. Okay, so bear with me. I'll just move you down. Right. I put it right at the end. That's right. Bear with me. So, on that note, this is another one of the comics. This is another one of my favourite cover arts for these comics. This is showing Buffy with a sort of gang of her potential slayers that she is now in charge of looking after. Essentially, Buffy has to go and round up as many of these potential slayers before they get caught by the government as possible. We get to see a little bit of that in season 5 of Buffy. No, Angel. So Andrew is essentially training to be a Watcher. They're trying to rebuild the Watchers Council, because obviously most of them were destroyed. And we get to see like a little bit of the storyline from this in that season 5 episode where they have the Rogue Slayer that Andrew comes and takes away so they can help her. Essentially, that ties into this comic, where it opens up with a young potential Slayer who has no idea what's going on. She doesn't know she's a Slayer, basically running for her life because she's been hunted down, and cuts Buffy, and that's our kind of introduction to her life after Sunnydale. And I always thought that the cover art on this was fantastic, as well as we get a little sneak peek on the back of Buffy in her new, more commando-y gear. Because they start operating almost as if it's like an initiative of Slayers.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more organised. There's a lot more sort of people involved, organisation there, but it all kind of kicks off in this comic. And yeah, I've always liked, especially the juxtaposition of this. I know I've used that word a lot, but it's one of those things that Joss does really well, where he's got one concept completely starkly put against another one. I love the fact that at the very front of this, they're dressed the way Buffy would normally dress, just normal casual clothes that she would go slaying in. As you go through it and you actually find out she's more of this sort of grizzled, changed woman, by everything that she's been through. She's no longer the sort of fresh-faced, optimistic Buffy that she used to be. She's now a bit more jaded, a bit more affected by what's going on and blowing up the place that she came from. And it makes this one in particular one of my favourites out of the comics that I've got. Not just because the art in it's fantastic, but it really kicks off that sort of initial what happens next after the TV series, which is why this one's very near and dear to my heart. Right. And then, just so you know, I wasn't talking nonsense. Here's some cover art that we have where we have Dawn and Xander beside each other because they are now a happy couple. But yeah. I will also just quickly fire through a couple of these. Yeah. Scythe makes a big appearance in everything from Series 7 onwards. But I just thought I'd show you this one because this is one of the most iconic images and the main one that gets used for the full of Season 8. And it's one of my favourite because it just encapsulates everything so perfectly. But yeah, so that's me. That's pretty much most of the collection I brought with me.
Right, so the last two, apart from the Scythe in the Vampire book, are probably the best in the collection that I've got.
Okay.
So,
oh my God, is that the book that Willow uses in Season 2? Oh, that's fantastic.
it is 300 pages of everything in the show.
Oh, that is amazing.
So there's a website called on Facebook. If you go on Facebook, they make like props from the show, like probably very detailed replicas, but the cost in the hundreds to get it shipped and everything.
Yeah.
And they've made like two versions of this, like this one in a second edition, but they've like added more stuff to the second one. And someone has obviously bought it, spent like a few £100 on it, but didn't want it anymore. So it was on eBay for £90, and I knew what it was. So but yeah, so I'll show you a few pages. I'll show you like how detailed the pages are. So these are all like what they've made. So that's like so look like you've got a full history on De Hoffren.
That's excellent.
So
I love
like
that
it's always like it's proper like the book, like all the history on it and everything. You've got the witch amulet.
Is that a picture of
who's that? Vengeance demons, warrior demons.
That's awesome.
What else have we got? Oh, there we go. Got From Angel as well. Who gives them the soul.
Yeah, the name's gone out my head. They have the magic blood that's like regenerative.
And you've got From Earshot.
Yep. can never remember like this is what I mean. The names just see when I need them, when I want to say it, it'll just pop out my head completely, and I'm going, yeah, the psychic demon. Aye.
We've got the Ethos box
Oh,
from me.
excellent.
We've got the From Bad Eggs.
I loved that episode. Bad Eggs was such a good throwaway episode. Like, it was so randomly in the middle, but it was just so funny.
There we go. You probably the Ramen Demon, and then the Mask, Bring Back the Dead.
Excuse me, the dead cat episode.
Yeah. Who else? We've got Gakna, like a full page on his symbol and his picture.
That's excellent. Again, that episode in
Don't
season 4 was so good.
Don't taunt the Gakna demon. Why can he hurt me? No, it's just tacky.
Yep.
Who else have we got? Fishnik demon from
Fishnik.
season 6.
Cookies.
Yeah. Who's that one?
Oh, are those the 3 demons that tried to cause the apocalypse in the Zeppo?
Yeah. You've got that one from Angel, where Fred throws him in.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, what else have we got? Oh, there we've got the. Oh, what's this one? Hang on. I don't know if you can remember that one where he wears the ring. The ring on the finger.
Yeah. Trying to remember.
It's written down, I can't remember. I don't know. Hang on. Right, so we've got them, and then so I mean, it's just 300 pages of symbols, amulets, crystals.
I'll definitely need to keep an eye out in case anybody decides to get rid of theirs, because that is fantastic.
I know. Where are we? 207. It's like it's all split up, and then we've got the full 2-page Wet the Glove of Minigon.
Also, what an episode! Absolutely loved Gwendolyn. What's her face? Gwendolyn Post, was it?
Yeah, Gwendolyn Post. Yeah. I don't know where are we? We've got two more, I think. Oh, there. Oh, yeah. Got that minute. From Angel, the Ratette from season 4.
Yeah. That's excellent.
You can see the thing.
Yeah.
And then last up, I mean, there's loads. Oh no, I'll take that back. Got Balthazar.
Love that. That was another episode that I loved because it showed you how much of a snivelling wee idiot that Wesley was. Like, in comparison to Giles, like, they're both in this perilous situation, and Giles is just like, do what you want, and he's immediately just like, I'll tell you anything, don't hurt me. Excellent.
Last up, because there's more, but full 2-page on the Word of Value.
Aye.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, like the full book is just filled full of like everything, like the where Willow uses the thing to make them all forget and makes Tara forget.
Tabula rasa.
Just gives like a brief history on like the demons and everything.
That is awesome. Like, definitely need to keep an eye out for one of them.
Yeah. And the last one I've got. Have you ever seen that? The Making of a Slayer?
I have not.
Eh?
I have not. I've not seen that before.
This right here, apart from that, this is like the holy grail of Buffy things. Apart from the Sunnydale Library toy set, this is the holy grail to get hold of. Because it has tons. I'm going to pull it all out for you because it has tons, and I mean tons of stuff from the show. So it opens. You get this. You get like a full book. Like it's all behind the scenes of everything, like interviews, behind the scene talk, everything. That's all right in itself. But then you get another sleeve on the other side, and you get that in it.
Sorry, someone tried to phone me. There we go.
So you get that on the other side of it. So I'm going to pull it all out and I'll show you what you get inside it. It's all the load of props from the show. All right. So first up, we're going to start with. Oh, she's gone.
Don't know why I disappeared there.
Oh, so in The Harvest, where Charles is flicking through the books, and you see the vessel.
That is awesome.
I'll show you. I'll show you the first page first. So you get to see the vessel.
That is so
where
cool.
he's doing it. And then the other side explains the harvest.
Oh, that's excellent. Like the full ritual explanation.
Yeah. So that's what he's looking at through the full book. Then next up, where all the shamans talk about making the first slayer. That's the full speech.
Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome.
There's one. Then you've got, everything's described on the back to say what it is. And that's a sketch of the gentleman.
That is, I love that. Like concept art kind of thing.
What's this? That's from Seeing Red. The Nesla demon language.
Ah, right, yeah. That's so cool.
There's newspaper clippings from where the wild things are.
Oh, that's excellent. Sorry, I was just being asked when we're finishing. I was just saying we're nearly done. That's awesome.
Yeah, but a few more things and then we'll wrap it up.
Excellent.
What else have we got? Previous Slayer journal logs from the past.
I love the fact that they've got the details
the
of
Watcher's
burnt
diaries
on the book.
Yeah, it's from the Watcher's diaries, previous Slayer logs.
That's amazing.
Then you've got, what else have you got? Oh, then you've got, what is this? C4. Oh, then you've got the full plans for a 4-page plan for City Hall, for the mayor's office and everything, the full
it's
blueprint.
The plan is still in season 3.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh, then you've got a full scale page of.
Oh, don't know what
the World of Valios.
Oh,
so you've got what was in the book, but a bit more detailed.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the.
Yep, the forgetting spell from Tabula Rasa.
Yeah, you got them there. Again, with the earshot demon. Then you got the full ritual to.
Mark of Igon, yep. That's so cool.
The full ritual.
Yeah.
And last up, you've got the full ritual of restoration for Angel's Soul.
Oh, and it's the one that Willow's written out.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that they even printed it on the yellow paper, so it looks exactly the same. That's awesome.
So that's everything that you get in that book, with it.
I'll definitely need to keep an eye out and see if anybody's getting rid of one.
So the other one's just a witchcraft book, but that one is Making of a Slayer, in the red leather book. Otherwise, if you just get the book on its own, you won't get the other stuff with it.
Yeah.
But that's the best things I've got in the collection. I've got loads of other books and stuff in there, but loads of other bits. But this was some of the best stuff that I've got.
That's excellent.
But yeah, that's it. That's everything that we need to talk about for now. Obviously, if we do another one in I don't know, a few weeks or something, have a break and then a couple of more weeks, we can do season 2 if you want, if you're up for that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, I hope you've enjoyed talking about Buffy showing off all your collection, seeing my collection, and everything that we've discussed from the movie, the pilot, season 1. We've just scratched past season 1. We've been talking for what, nearly 3 hours?
Just about, yeah.
So much for our hour. Bloody hell.
I know. Well, you know, at least you know you're going to get plenty of content out of the discussions.
But anyway, yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming back, being a return guest to talk about Buffy. I've had an amazing time.
Me too.
And I will see you whenever we do another one.
Yep, we'll see you next time.
Right, so I will see you later.
Bye. Did I turn this off?
Oh yeah, just turn it off. Yeah, just turn,
Sorry,
just turn your end off, and I can do that.
See you later.
Keep it professional.
I'll try.
Yep, and there she's gone. And that is it. That is our full Buffy video for now. When she does come back on the show, we will be doing season 2, which I will be looking forward to, but that won't be for like a couple of more weeks. Give us time to breathe and reset and get our focus back on season 2. But as always, I've had an amazing time talking to my guests, and I always love talking about Buffy. But thank you to everyone who is going to watch this, because this is on for quite some time. But as always, I am Anthony Movie Mania. Please leave your likes and comments, please subscribe, and be sure to stick around for more live content and more videos, and I will see you in the next one. See you later.